All right, so we are recording. Shit, didn't mean to go on. Fuck, why do I keep going on Google? All right, and then I'll put it full screen. There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wrestling with Evil. It's the only channel that does Resident Evil playthroughs, talks about other stuff, does tier lists, and I wanted to try interviews. So this is my first guest. I got Tony from the Row. He also likes to go by One Big Boss. And the people at the Row are awesome, and I wanted to have him on as my first guest just because he's an interesting dude. He likes a lot of the same stuff that I do, and he takes care of his dad full time, or like while he's doing stuff with his YouTube channel, which I do too. So, yeah. So basically, how are you, man? How are you doing?
Doing good. Other than being trapped inside the house like everybody else and everything,
Oh
it could
my
be worse.
God,
Doing
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It's a struggle. Cause my dad's 75, so yeah, he's old. He's old as hell. He's like he's almost a dinosaur, pretty much. So basically, I have to go out and I have to do all the shopping and whatever. So it's a lot of work, man, and especially because I got my channel and whatever and everything. It's a lot, but I understand what you're
It
going
can
through,
be.
man.
It really can be.
Yeah, it can be. All right, so let's talk. Yeah, let's talk this coronavirus. Talk about this coronavirus real quick because how do you feel about it? Like, is there anybody personally that has been hurt by it? In your life or anything?
Nobody that I know. I had a couple of friends and some nursing friends and other people I know work in hospitals, and some of it like they thought they had it, but it was just like their asthma and stuff. They just had like the
Yeah.
symptoms. So they did the test, and my best friend he thought he had it. He got the test done, and he was negative about it. Um,
Good.
so like nobody I know has really been like affected by it that I can remember right now. But
That's good.
for the most part, yeah, it sucks because other
Yeah.
than doing YouTube on two different channels and taking care of my dad full time, I also do photography full time.
Oh
And
yeah, that's
one of my
right.
biggest things I do is I go to conventions and I do cosplay photography.
Yeah.
So
I
with all the
forgot
cons
about
getting
that.
canceled,
Yeah.
and I guess what was it? Yeah, yesterday San Diego Comic-Con announced that they will be not having theirs this year, and it was their 50th anniversary, which I was shocked that it was around for
Oh
50
man.
years. But
Yeah, me too. I didn't know Comic Con was around that long.
I really didn't. I thought like maybe it was like it was started in like the early '80s or something, but it
Yeah.
apparently was not. I mean, I don't pay much attention to San Diego Comic Con anyway because you have to be like the elite of the elite to get into that thing. Getting tickets is damn near impossible unless like you've got connections and shit. So
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I would love to see it, like, try and get you into PAX, East, or what is it, East? Yeah, PAX East on the East Coast, cuz I would love to hang out with you in the Row and whatever. Um and it's
well, I was
closer to
there this
home for
past
you.
year. That was the only con that I had. Technically, the only two cons I've had this year was PAX South down in Texas with the Row guys,
Yeah.
and then PAX East in Boston because it's right in my backyard. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the fact that Nick Postolides was with you guys. That guy, he's such a cool dude.
Dude,
Seriously.
like he is literally like one of the greatest guys I have ever met. He is so talented. He's funny as hell.
I
He's a
know.
fellow Boston guy like myself.
Really? Oh yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah, no,
right.
he's just he's a great dude. He's very talented. He's very caring. He just
Mhm.
like we had a big project back at PAX South where a good friend of mine does Ada Wong and she looks the part. So I told Nick, who was coming there, I was like, yeah, I got a friend who's doing Ada. Like, maybe we can try to like do a team up. And he'd been wanting to do something like that. And he'd been wanting to shoot with me for a while, and vice versa. Especially when I found out he was, making the Leon outfit. So I was just like, yeah, we got to make this happen. And
Yeah.
it did. It finally did. Like, meeting up in Texas, he came down with us. He hung out with the Row guys. He was on our panel. It was a great time. He's just like literally like one of the nicest, caring dudes. Like, he's all about like charity, and that's always great because you don't see a lot of that from a lot of celebrities these days. And he's all about, I mean, like what he does, building homes in other countries and such. It's just,
Really?
like I said,
Wow.
he's a multi-talented dude.
Holy
Like,
shit!
it's
Like,
crazy.
by
And
by the
he was showing like some of his artwork recently that he'd been doing while stepped inside. His Nemesis drawing, I was just like, mine looks like crap. Like, holy shit, dude, that is good.
that's awesome. I didn't know he was an artist too. I guess he's a man of many talents, huh?
Oh yeah, he is. No, like yeah, check out like you gotta like follow him on his Instagram and his Twitter where he posts that stuff. Like his Nemesis work was just amazing.
Yeah, I think I did add him on Instagram, but I'm gonna check his Twitter out too. Oh, by the way, you don't have to worry about keeping it PG up in here. Like you can curse if you want to. If you feel like you need to drop an F-bomb, definitely do so. You're more than
Fuck
welcome.
yeah!
Fuck yeah! All right. So so let's talk a little bit about you and your life and why you wanted to become a YouTuber, because everybody has a reason. And I guess I'll tell you my reason after after you do. But share with everybody why you wanted to become a YouTuber, why you thought it was important for you, something that you loved, and why you wanted to get into the whole YouTube grind.
Pretty much like I wanted to do it for fame, money, and women. No, just kidding. No.
Yeah, right.
No,
So it was a
the
perk.
weird thing was, right? This was I've been on YouTube for my own personal channel for about 8 years now, and I kind of got sick of seeing a lot of these professional journalist sites and all these other ones out there bullshitting their way through reviews, right? Like they're like a 2-3 minute review, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, that doesn't tell me anything about the game. And then when you do your research, you find out that a lot of the games they're amping up to be this hype thing that's amazing turns out to actually be a piece of crap.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't like this. And there was a
Yeah.
reviewer that I watched way back in the day. It was kind of like it wasn't like the Angry Video Game Nerd, but he was reviewing games. And,
Oh, I love that guy, by the way. The
Oh, yeah.
AVGN is fucking phenomenal. I love AVGN.
like the fact that he has
They're
like
great.
kept it going for over 10 years.
I
his
know.
channel, right?
I know.
I never felt his work got stagnant. Like how you watch
Me
some
either.
YouTubers and they kind of hit that slump and everything like that. They'll make a
Yeah.
comeback at one point.
He keeps
I
it
just felt he
interesting.
stayed consistent.
Yeah, he keeps it fresh. He keeps it interesting. He's always engaging. He's funny as fuck. His shit references are the best. He has
Oh, yeah,
a new
and
shit
plus-
reference every episode.
Let's look at the fact though, some of the stuff he's done recently. He had Macaulay Culkin and what do you
I
call
know.
it there? Who was it? Gilbert
What's his-
Gottfried. on
Gilbert
there.
Godfrey, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is hilarious. I think that motherfucker is one of the funniest comedians ever. Just the way he
He
talks.
is so good in everything.
I
Like,
know.
I love that video of him years ago, like reading 50 Shades of Grey. I was like, this is what living is about.
I know, right? You could just get famous off of reading a book. That's funny.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, like back to that. It was another reviewer called K-Wing Reviews, and he used to have this thing called Retro Mondays,
Yep.
where he reviewed games on Mondays. It was like always retro games,
Mm-hmm.
and the way he did it, like it just felt more natural on how he did his reviews. I mean, he's
Yeah.
he's reading off a script most likely, but it's his own words. Everything like that. It's not nobody telling him what he can and cannot say type deal.
Yeah.
And that's what really was I was just like, like I got a lot of opinions. I like video games, I would think.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Oh, no, yeah, I know. What do you what do you say? What do you think system you have the most games of?
I would definitely say it's probably a toss up between PS1, PS2, and maybe NES, like the original Nintendo.
Okay, yeah, NES
I'd
had a
have to say
lot of
that.
titles.
All I
A
know
lot
is
of them
I've got
were
like
crap
well over
though.
1,000 physical games. So
The original NES had a lot of titles, but a lot of them were like really, really not that great. I mean,
well, yeah, I mean, like early
yeah.
design of video game in many ways. Like this was people trying to figure out gaming at that point. The
Oh,
NES
yeah,
was
definitely.
like a testing ground.
Exactly.
For a lot
Because
of stuff.
that
I mean,
was
we still
like-
got crappy games throughout the years, and we still get them today. But
Yeah,
that
true.
was back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the whole YouTube thing, I just, I didn't really think I'd go anywhere or get anywhere with it. I mean, in 8 years,
Yeah.
I've only got like 1,500 followers, I think, or something like that. Or at least I think it's 1,500.
Yeah.
Either way.
So you've been doing it 8 years. I thought it was 6. Huh.
No, I've been doing it for 8 years.
Okay.
I've been doing it for a long time. I stopped doing reviews at one point because like it got a little too hectic in life and I just couldn't focus on doing reviews. But I would put up like rant videos where I would talk about things that, like I was just like, passionate about or upset about, or things that I just thought was like weird and all that
Yeah.
jazz. So
Yeah, dude, the word weird, and when something's weird, that just makes my body tingle. I love everything weird. That's why I love Binding of Isaac so much. Have you ever played that game before?
I have not.
Oh, dude, it's so good. You have to play it. You have to check it out. It's phenomenal. You will sink your teeth into that game. Like thousands and thousands of hours into that game you will put in. Trust me. I promise you. Trust me. It's a good game. But so yeah, so going back to you being a YouTuber 8 years ago, who was your main influence and why?
Oh, for back then, like I
Yeah.
said, it was kind of a combination. Like I said, K-Wing reviews and how he did his stuff was like a big thing. I was just like, I think I could do something like that.
Okay.
And obviously the angry video game nerd, and to some degree the nostalgia critic. He never really did video games. He did that like I think he did like one video game thing. It was like a dare with the nerd or something like that.
Mhm.
And I just liked how these guys like would have like they had their own opinions and they just weren't being told what to do. And it just really looked fun. And I really wanted to do these kind of things. And I never really watched a lot of YouTube content. So I didn't really know
Yeah.
like how to structure things properly. And I kind of learned as I went along as the years. And I just looked at like what IGN did and a lot of the other ones, and I would do the opposite pretty much.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah,
like
right.
Angry Joe came into the picture. I discovered him. I think I discovered him actually around the same time, like 2011 or something.
Angry Joe's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's funny. I know he gets a
Yeah.
lot of crap, but he's not right about a lot of things. For a lot of people say, but for the most part, he does like when he's right and everything. I mean, I'm not right about everything either. But like when he's right about stuff, he's right. And a lot of people are like, oh, his reviews are too long. I was like, yeah, but at least he goes in depth and actually tells
Yeah,
you
exactly.
what does work and what doesn't work in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I think
because I
it's
always try to say it's like, look, you have to like, when you do a review, you've got to also inject what you like about the game and how you feel, but you also got to look at it from like you got to be like neutral territory and be like,
Yeah.
look, I love this said company, but I think this said game needs improvement here. I think that they did this weird. I don't know why the controls aren't working at this part of the game. This kind of thing. It's that kind of
Yeah.
stuff that you have to figure out because when
Exactly.
you're paid off by a company or something like that.
Yeah.
To say things like when you get review copies and you're told what you can and cannot say, that's not being a true reviewer in many ways. Now I know some people who do that, like they get the review copies and they're told what they said and cannot say, but I
Yeah.
respect them because the way they do it, they're still kind of dropping hints of what's wrong with the game in many ways, or all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like when Capcom reached out to me and the Row guys, or I think we reached out to them.
Yeah.
They wanted to know, it's like, hey, like, do you want to review the Switch pack that's coming out, Resident Evil 0, 1, and 4.
Mhm.
And at the time, I was the only one with a Switch, so, they sent me a code, and I did a very honest review on it. I felt that there were a lot of things wrong with it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I was really happy with a lot of stuff that came out. And that's my thing. Like, I try to give both the good and the bad.
That's good. Did they change anything in 6 at all on the Switch pack or no?
5 and 6 I have actually not played yet.
Okay.
I haven't gotten those yet. I think I'll wait for like a sale or something like that.
I mean, because as you know, 6 definitely did not do well. I mean, that game
Well,
was not
money
up to
wise,
par.
it made more than
Oh,
any other
yeah.
Resident Evil game at the time.
Exactly, because it had more content. People and
Well, no,
there
I
was
think
a
it was
lot
just
of
really amped up because the trailers really sold the game and what it was. But
That's
then
true.
when people played the game at like demos and stuff like that, like the camera would zoom in, like when you would take aim, camera
Yeah.
would zoom too close to the character's back head, so half the screen you couldn't see. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of like frame rate issues. A lot of people weren't happy, so Capcom did go back and fix a lot of things. I know that much, but the overall
Yeah.
experience, it just left something to be desired.
Yeah, I know. I mean, when I played 6 for the first time, I was just like, man, so many people that I know in my town spoke so highly of this game, and I'm just like, I'm not seeing it. I'm not impressed. But I mean, but then again, I talk to people that are just like, oh my god, I love Resident Evil 6. Like I love the mercenaries mode. I love this and that about it. I love how you can play online and kill each other. Like it did a lot of experimenting. It tried to do everything, but I call it the jack of all trades, but the master of none. You know what I
Good way
mean?
to save it.
Yeah,
Say
definitely.
it. Yeah, that's definitely a good way to say it.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Let's just bullshit for a minute or two. So let's talk some Resident Evil. So you just released your Resident Evil 3 review, right? Or did you not release that yet?
I did release a review of Resident
Okay.
Evil 3. It came out a little bit later than I wanted, but it is out on my channel.
Okay.
I did review it, and we over at the Row, we had like kind of like a team review discussion of it. Like, did we do that? No, we didn't do that live, but it's out over there on the Row channel too.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, See, when I played through Resident Evil 3 Remake, I was like, huh. You know, once I was done playing with it, that's all I could say was like, huh. I didn't even really know what to think. I mean, I was just like, I mean, the visuals were great, storyline was great. I mean, you know, but just, I don't know. It just felt like there was just way too much missing. Way too much missing.
The thing that was, you're right. There's a lot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
here's how I pretty much put it in my review.
Yeah,
For everything that's missing, there seems to be something good. And
that's true.
what I mean by that is, you know, we didn't obviously get Jill going to the RPD and everything like that, but we got an expanded look at the RPD as Carlos, and then we got to play as him again in the hospital. So we got more Carlos time, which I thought was fantastic. I thought that was a great thing that they did in that game, was to do something like that. You know, as beautiful as the streets looked and how the chaos was like fresh and all there and stuff,
It was so good.
it was too short.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like that's the problem. It was way
bit.
too short in that game. And
bit.
you know, for the things that you have that are unlockables, it ain't enough.
Yeah, true.
Everything. Like you know, they could have had more outfits. They could have had a couple more weapons, that kind of thing. You know, I think it was really a missed opportunity for a lot of things. But like I said, also in the review, and this was something that everybody agreed with me with, was the fact that the actors in this game fucking nailed it. Like,
Oh,
me and the
they
guys
did.
up at the row,
Absolutely.
Like we interviewed everybody already from that game, and
It was great.
Oh yeah, they
Just all the
did amazing on
interactions,
it. We
yeah.
talked about that, and oh, it was so good. Like that was like my favorite part. Like I wanted more Carlos in the game because he was so good.
Oh, me too.
And Jeff Shine did an amazing job, and Nicole Tompkins as Jill, she continues doing for the character that pretty much every other actress before her has done.
Carlos, in the remake reminded me a little bit of like Keanu Reeves, just a tiny bit.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Good, I'm not the only one who thinks it.
Exactly. I mean, he didn't have the hair. He obviously had, curly hair. He's very Spanish looking. Kind of looked like Luis Serra a little bit. Not gonna lie, but no, he just his mannerisms, the way he talked, the way he moved. It was a lot like Keanu Reeves. They definitely if that's what they were going for, they really fucking nailed that. Because I love any movie that has Keanu Reeves in it. The Matrix movies. What's it called? Fuck, I'm drawing a blank right now. But
Like Speed.
John Wick. Yeah. The movie that he was in recently, the third installment, was called Parabellum.
Yeah,
Fuck.
John Wick.
John Wick, yes, John Wick. I fucking love those movies, man. I binge them like every 2 weeks, just all three of them, back to back. They're so good.
Yeah, no, they're good. Like
Yeah,
they're
really
they're
good.
such good movies.
Oh yeah,
And
I know.
I think they'd get boring after a while, but he and his team really work hard, and the directors work hard to make you like these movies still. Because usually when action movies get sequels, they start like dying down a little bit, but
Yeah.
these ones are
Like
still
Die
on
Hard.
top, and I like that.
Like Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
not
like
talk
Die
about that.
Like I love Die Hard to death and everything like
Me
that. And I
too.
love the original 3, and after a couple of years, I actually did accept 4 for being a pretty good Die Hard movie. But then
Die
I
Hard
saw
with a
5
Vengeance,
in
right?
theaters. Huh?
It was Live Free or Die Hard, right? That was the fourth one.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
fourth one. Yeah, it was all the cyber terrorist attacks. Timmy Oliphant was the bad guy in that, and I didn't like the movie at first, but because I saw it in theaters, and
me
as
either.
time went on, I actually did enjoy it. But the final one that came out like about 5-6 years ago, what was it, A Good Day to Die Hard? I thought that was terrible. Like
Yeah,
my
it
sister
wasn't
looked
that
over
good
to me
at all.
and she's like, "Are you upset?" And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of want to leave. Like this is not
So
Die
good.
Hard."
I know. It's like Die Hard definitely died pretty hard. They beat that horse. They really did.
They did it in such the wrong way. Like they just
know.
wanted to do it to bring back that nostalgia, and they didn't do it the right way. Like Sylvester Stallone brings back Rocky in Rocky Balboa back in 2006,
Yeah.
and he had been gone for so long that it worked.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like it worked. And then even if you want to go back further, go back to 1997, 1998 when Lethal Weapon 4 came out. A lot of people didn't like it, but I actually enjoyed it back in the day.
I
And
think
as time went on,
Lethal
I kept trying to
Weapon.
explain to people, I was like, no, this is why you needed this movie to come out when it did. And
I
then this
think
was the
Lethal
end of
Weapon
an era
4
for
is
these
one of the
guys.
best.
Huh?
I think Lethal Weapon 4 is one of the best lethal weapons, to be honest with you. I think it's probably either first or second.
For me personally, it goes 1, 2, 4, and then 3.
Yeah, I didn't like 3. I don't really like Gary Busey that much.
Gary Busey was in the first one.
Oh, he was in the first one. Shit. Okay.
The third one, the thing was like the third one kind of like the villain. He was just a corrupt cop, and the actor did good with him, but there wasn't a lot of flair with him. Like in the first one, you had Gary Busey and a bunch of the other like bad guys and actors in it that actually stood out as very memorable. Like they had character building to them and everything. You knew what these characters were, and then
Yeah.
the second one comes out, and you get the guys that are all like like the white supremacist guys from South Africa and everything, and they had building to them and shit. Like everything, every time they were on screen, as much as you hated them, they gave a great performance.
Yeah, that's
3
true.
was just kind of okay. You know? Like it's
I
not terrible.
I love
but it
Mel
doesn't do
Gibson
what
though.
The first 2 did.
Mel Gibson made all those movies. I'm telling you that one line that he did. I forget which one because like you said, there's 4. It's kind of hard to but the one with the hollow point. I got a bullet just for the occasion with a hollow point. That line is so good.
Make sure it blows the back of my goddamn head.
Yeah.
I'll get the job done right.
Get the job
And
done
I love
right,
that
dude.
scene.
I love that line so much.
Way back in, oh my god, this is like a theater thing back in like early high school. Like I just was like doing the theater stuff just for fun. Like I didn't really like go anywhere with it. I just wanted to like do like a monologue because they wanted people to come on and do shit, right?
Yeah.
They wanted people to come on and do plays, and they needed actors for it and everything. So I recreated that scene, and a buddy of mine who was an action junkie himself,
Yeah.
he actually was just like, I was like, all right, dude, we got to do that part in Lethal Weapon 1 where Riggs and Murtaugh are yelling at each other. Like, they're, like they're an old married couple. He goes, which part's that? And I was like, fair enough. But yeah, like the one he's talking about the hollow point and everything, and he's suicidal after the jump. He goes, oh yeah, let's do that. So we said, like, I think the reading we gave them was something out of, I think it was something out of like Casablanca originally. And they were just like, why are you getting 2 people for this? So we just kind of just blew their mind. And when we did that reading,
that's awesome.
And the English teacher who was doing the directing didn't want to like have anything to do with that. Like it was just like, okay, well that's yeah, but that's guns, and that was a good performance. And I was like, yeah, it was a performance. We're not doing that piece, And they were just all iffy about it because like I gave a really good performance on it, and I was just like, okay, well. I wasn't gonna do anything anyway, but it just made me laugh that they didn't want to do it because it was like about guns and suicide. This was like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, those were really sensitive times, especially with suicide and stuff. But what did you think about the Resident Evil CGI movies? I think they're excellent. I love them. They're so good.
Okay, so I love the hell out of those things, right?
Yeah,
like,
they're good.
I saw the 3rd one in theaters because they had like a small showing. I love it so much that like actually I think.
Yeah, I see you got a poster back there. Vendetta. Yeah. Oh shit.
I got the vinyl soundtrack to Vendetta.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, see, that was one of my favorites.
That literally is my favorite of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the original when I saw it coming out back in the day. Oh, I broke my chair. When I started coming out back in the day, I was psyched because there was a time where the video game store that all my friends either worked at or just lived at.
Yeah.
We saw it come up on the computer and everything. I was like, what's this Resident Evil? We thought it was a new game. And then we saw the trailer and we were all stoked for it. And then we saw it and we were all just kind of like, there's a lot wrong with this movie. Not bad, but it's better than the live action ones, but there's a lot wrong with this. And then the sequel came out and that was pretty good. And I like that one. That one's really good. And then the 3rd one I thought was just great. I think they didn't utilize Rebecca enough. I think she was just there because they were putting her in because people had requested her for years.
That was my favorite iteration of her too. I mean, I mean, I liked her in Zero and everything. She was this confident girl, but then, you see it switch kind of like she's a little bit too helpless in Remake, which kind of makes her character a little bit, like, what's it called? Not very consistent. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I don't think that the original team, I think they wanted to improve upon that, like, in this, because, like, how she was in the original game. I just kind of felt that, like, the relationship between her and Billy just happened. They just, like, instantly start trusting each other, and then there's nothing else. There's no hesitation between the two of them. They act like they're best friends. I think the writing for that was pretty bad. I also thought it was weird that, like, again, when she goes to the mansion,
Mm-hmm.
she's back to her a meek team herself,
Yeah,
tame herself.
I
And it's
know.
just like, well, what happens about the night before? Why aren't you? That just didn't happen. I mean, it's because, one came first and then zero had to do something. And instead of making her like shy and helpless the whole time, they try to amp her up, and it just didn't work in a canon kind of sense.
I think of it this way. I think of Resident Evil Zero as like a one night stand with somebody, at a bar where you're just like, okay, that happened. Let's forget about that and go off to the next thing. Just like forget it ever happened.
That sounds about right, honestly.
I know, I know. All right, so let's talk about okay, so what is your favorite Resident Evil game and why? I think I know which one it is, but give like an in-depth 3. Yes, but give like an in-depth like reason why, and then we'll talk about the differences between, the original and the remake.
It's good.
It's good.
Okay, so jokes aside, I loved Resident Evil 3 because it was continuing something that I really loved from the first two games. It's just these two games with zombies and bioweapons and shit like that. And then, 3 is where the series begins to become the action-oriented. Now, a lot of people are saying that's 4, but what people don't understand is,
Yeah.
The original Resident Evil 1 was just pure survival horror.
Oh, yeah,
2
absolutely.
had a little bit of the action element in many ways, but it still retained everything we loved about the first one. It's pretty much everything that you loved about the first one is improved in the second one in terms of more puzzles, better acting, more character interactions. Things felt realistic in many ways, in terms of like the acting to some degree. And that does a really good job. And then 3 really amps it up and starts giving you action with like these exploding barrels everywhere, and like just a hulking creature stalking you.
Yeah.
A plethora of fucking weapons like grenade launchers, magnums, various handguns and shotguns.
Dude,
and
that Western
rocket
Custom
launchers,
shotgun
Gatling
is
guns.
dope. I don't even care what anybody says. That Western Custom shotgun is one of my favorite guns in Resident Evil. It's so good.
That's my favorite gun in RE3 next to the Magnum, actually. It just sucks that you get that gun pretty much at the end of the game. It sucks.
Yeah, I know. Unless you really boss through it.
Well, I mean, if you have like the PS1 version like I do, and you have Game Shark like I do, you can actually give yourself that gun at the beginning. You can give yourself all the guns at the beginning of the game.
Oh God, Game Sharks! I forgot all about them. I forgot they even existed.
Yep, Game Shark was great, and
such an easy way to cheat.
Like back in the day, like once I beat it, I started using Game Shark just to have fun.
Yeah.
So there's a Game Shark code that lets you play as Tofu.
Yeah.
And it actually works. But when you use the Western shotgun, a little block of tofu floats in front of you as the gun, and when it reloads, like how Jill does that cool reload mechanic, like Schwarzenegger does in Terminator 2 on the bike.
Yeah.
The little thing just flips. The little piece of tofu.
That's awesome. I fucking love that. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I've been actually meaning to tell JJ to figure out how to do that for like PC, or if anything, like maybe I'll do it like hook up the original console with the Elgato and shit. But it was it's really cool, like that, like all the stuff that happened in 3. Like I said, the atmosphere was fantastic.
True.
The destroyed city, hearing the zombies' cries in the distance and such, and going to various amazing places, and spending a good amount of time in each area was a legit thing. And yeah, it's definitely the shortest of the 3. But it's one that I think does a lot of good and gives you a lot of replayability because of the mercenaries and unlocking the various outfits and the 9 epilogues and such. I think 3 did not get the credit it deserved. I remember back in the day, everybody was just calling it like an add-on.
Yeah,
I mean, as DLC came out later, people were like, "Yeah, it's just a DLC add-on to 2," which in many ways, it does feel like, because it does reuse assets from 2.
Yeah, it
does. But they still make it their own game with everything else after the police station.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on, let me switch this over. I forgot, because me and my dad did a live stream of Resident Evil 3 remake. He's actually like the biggest influence in my life. He's the person that played Resident Evil back in the day, so that's why I got hooked. And then I saw you guys, and I was just like, damn, man, why aren't I doing the same thing? I mean, I love these guys, but I want to do this shit too, because it just looks like a lot of fun. So then, lo and behold.
Well, but, like we were, like we've been told, like we've inspired people to do like YouTube content and stuff, and they're just like, well, I don't know if I can do it, and it's like, just go and do it,
Yeah,
people
exactly.
Are like, yeah, but you guys got like hundreds and thousands of like followers and stuff, and I was like, be that as it may,
yeah,
that
you guys got lucky. You guys got lucky. Really
You know,
lucky. I
like
mean,
the
it
thing with it is,
was.
I've always said that like when it like I okay, so I have seen content
Mhm.
creators out there for years that put out some of the most amazing things,
Yeah.
and their sub counts like 50,000,
Mm.
anything where they should have like 300 to 500,000 for what the
Oh
stuff
yeah,
they do. And not
absolutely.
saying that, like, I mean, like, we did get lucky in the sense that, like, the algorithm picked up what we were doing
Yep.
and everything we were doing and stuff like that. Now, JJ, he does do a lot of the work on the channel. Like, the
Oh
edits
yeah.
he does on the videos and the countless hours he spends on the videos are fucking unreal with
He
what he
does all
does.
the
Like,
editing, right?
yeah, like if I'm not doing a video and stuff like that,
Okay.
he does all the editing. And even if I do a video, he'll throw some edits in and he'll put on like the beginning and ending stuff too.
Yep.
But like, he just is a machine how fast he pumps these out. But like I said,
Yeah.
I've seen so many people, and I know he's disagreed with me on this. That like like he says like, well, I don't think we got lucky, and it was like, no, I mean like, dude, it is hard work, obviously. But
Yeah.
I've seen people who barely put in the work for anything and do jack crap on YouTube,
That's true.
and they're instantly getting so many damn followers. Like like they literally produce garbage or they take videos from elsewhere. They get that
Yeah.
sub count going up, and
Yeah.
it sucks. And like I said, it sucks to see a lot of people quit because they're not getting the views. Now, again, I've been doing this for 8 years. I've only got like 1,500 or 1,050. I don't know what it was. I can't remember right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But I'm not really a numbers guy and everything.
Yeah.
In
It's all
terms of
about.
like, I just
Yeah.
do the work because I want to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
Exactly.
of other content creators I've talked to over the years and become friends with, and even like people that are actors and stuff, like they've said, it's like, you just got to do what you want to do. If you worry about what others think or you try to do what others want,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to
Yeah.
know, and they're going to know you're not having fun. If you're not having fun, then
Then what's
people
the
are going to
point?
not watch your channel because they're just going to think you're some kind of blank slate. Again, this is why, like, for
Yeah.
a lot of channels out there, like these, reviewers and
Mm-hmm.
everything,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like them because of how fake they are. Now, there's a
Yeah.
lot that put tons of personality into their videos, and they're legit good people. But there's
Mm-hmm.
others out there that are just liars, or they're just doing it to get views. Like they
Yeah.
don't do it for the right reasons. And I
Yeah.
think that's one
I
of the
get
things we
that.
do at the Row a lot better than people who are like scam artists or people who don't who don't care as much. Is
Yeah.
that we do care. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, we
Exactly.
get flack from time to time and stuff for the things we say in videos and everything. But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Like, we're not saying like bad things and stuff. It's just people disagreeing. It's just some people can't give good criticism. They just have to break you down and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Everything. I've been on YouTube for 8 years. I'm used to people not agreeing with me on shit.
Yeah. Right.
But
But
like I said, like
no.
we love what we do on the Row, and I'm proud of my entire team. Like Ali somehow fucking gets all the actors. The running joke I started on the thing was the fact that he kidnaps the families until the actor or actress says yes to come on to the show.
That's awesome.
JJ with the edits and his connections and how and
Yep.
all that stuff is fantastic, and does a great job. Our moderators have always done great work, and then our team over at for Vigil, the game we're developing, is just
Oh yes. I'm
these
definitely
guys
gonna
are
talk
just
to you about
unreal.
that in a little bit, because that to me, when I saw that trailer, dude, it blew my fucking mind. I was just like, dude, I thought of Resident Evil 1 remake, and that's my favorite Resident Evil. But also, let's talk about the differences between Resident Evil 3, your favorite, and Resident Evil 3 remake, because I mean, I was really pissed off. I mean, like, you had the whole clock tower fight, but it was outside of the clock tower. I guess they were supposed to, they were trying to make it a park or whatever. They were trying to make it the park in 3. It just fell flat. It didn't work to me. Like, I wanted, and then you got the fucking tower in the background, and it's just like, just open the fucking door. Make the door openable. Go inside. Solve a puzzle. I don't know. Do something. Just make it nostalgic,
Yeah, that was the problem. 3 had
Yeah.
like no puzzles, and the ones that were there were easily solved in like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then the clock tower. Okay, so here's the thing: the clock tower being taken out, it did bother me, but I
Yeah.
was glad that we at least got to be there.
Yeah.
But the fight is what bothered me with Nemesis. Now, when he comes
Yeah.
out of the river like that,
Mm-hmm.
that should not have been the form he took. The form we should have got was him like on fire, just falling into the ocean.
Yep.
And then like as Jill's running on the bridge, these tentacles just come up and he just pulls himself up, and he's supposed to look like he does when Carlos finds him, when Carlos is coming back with the antivirus for Jill in the original
Yeah.
3.
I
Yeah,
love that
coat
form.
off,
I love
like
that form.
fully exposed, and like he's
Yeah.
more violent, and he'll just like fucking whip you and slam you on the ground numerous
Yep.
times.
Yep.
That should have been the fight at the clock tower that Jill had, and then she
Definitely.
gets infected. And when
Yeah.
she takes down the nemesis, Carlos comes and finds her, or he
Mm-hmm.
comes in, he helps save the day.
Mm-hmm.
That is when, when he leaves and the nemesis falls down, finally they beat him and she's injured. That's when he takes her, runs off, and then the camera comes back and an arm just comes up from the nemesis's back and slams on the ground. Then you fight that creature in that disposal facility at the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see him a couple of times, run from him, maybe, run
Yep.
from him, stop, like shoot him a couple of times to keep him from following you, and then you fight him at the facility because we got 2 recycled
Exactly.
boss fights.
I know.
And I didn't like that. I also didn't like the park was left out. The park is my favorite part of Resident Evil 3. I knew it was going to get left out, though.
Yeah.
I knew, because it really didn't have like a super huge impact in the original 3. If that wasn't there, you'd just be like, oh, okay, whatever. But they wanted you in the original game to really explore the city. Now, from what I've been told by some of my other friends that run other big-time YouTube channels for like Resident Evil and stuff, I was told that there is a camera mod or something that allows you to go through the blocked areas and explore the streets even more, like all the blocked off areas.
That's awesome. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's this one guy that does boundary break. I think that's what he's called. I think that's what his channel's called. But no, he does he breaks the boundaries of video games, and he like explores. There's like this one weird thing in Resident Evil 4 where there's like an herb somewhere, and then you have and then he's able to see like when the cutscenes happen, like where the enemies come from. Like sometimes they'll be like this small little block, and then they'll turn into the enemy and whatever. It's just really cool. I love watching that shit. But no, I definitely agree, man. Like my favorite part in the game was the graveyard because okay. So my dad's, like I said, my dad's 75. So I grew up on the OG classics like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, the original, not the remake. I don't really like the remake that much, but Dawn of the Dead, the original. All sorts of George A. Romero type shit. And when I saw the zombies, coming from the grave, in the original Resident Evil 3, I was just like, man, that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. I remember my dad playing it for the first time.
But it is awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome, but it's such a small part, but that's the type of shit that I feel like, should have been in the remake. Those little nuances that like help, the game and make it more memorable, They could have expanded on that. And then that little cabin they left out too. Yeah. I was just like, man. And then they fucked up the worm boss. It wasn't even in there. And I was like, dude, the grave digger is iconic, and you just took him out? Why?
Yeah, I was kind of like bummed out by that too.
Oh, me too. Because it's just all nemesis, and then like
that's
you
the
said,
thing. Like they reduced him to being like a boss fight with like the rocket launcher again. More deadly in the original because it didn't have a laser sight. You knew when he was kind of gonna fire it, but you could still get hit by it.
Yeah,
this one,
exactly. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I wasn't feeling it. And then what was the other one? The flamethrower.
Mm-hmm.
You just run from him, and then you fight him, and you're literally just going in circles until like the thing overheats and you can get around the corner or whatever to shoot it. That's it. That's about it.
Yeah. I mean, you could also take him down by shooting him in the chest, but nobody really wants to do that. They want to make it explode, But no. But going back to what you were saying though, second form nemesis, I feel like they took way too many influences from Alien. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Alien movies. Like they're really, really good. Besides like Alien versus Predator, like I don't know, not a big fan. But like they took way too many influences from Alien, and it just seems like they've been doing that way too much. He looks way too alien-like. In Resident Evil 2 remake, the chest burster comes out of irons instead of just completely ripping him to shreds, just like in the original. Like, I don't know. What do you think about that? Because I'm not a big fan of them, keeping the whole alien
I'm
thing.
fine with I'm fine with it, I guess. I think that like everybody kind of takes something from somewhere,
That's true.
Nothing's really that original, and I think in an era now where we're kind of like it's okay to do that because you're paying homage to it all and stuff. I think it works a lot better, and I think
You
it's
do?
okay to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even picture what they would be able to do besides that. You know what I mean? Which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But
Hmm.
anyways, all right. So, um, we talked about that. Let's talk about okay. So, I was born on like like I said, old shit. But my dad is the person who got the original PlayStation. He loved it. He wanted it. It was like I believe when it came out, it was like what $400 or $500, something like that.
For I believe it was 400 because the Sega Saturn was 500 if I remember correctly.
Okay, yeah. But basically, the PlayStation came out. My dad bought it the day it came out. It was the last one they had at Toys R Us, like the last one, and they weren't gonna restock till after Christmas. So he got the last one. He got a couple games for it. I believe he got Tekken 1, and he got a I think it was like a sports game. And he opened that shit up. He played it, and I just remember sitting next to him, a little baby, little kid. It came out in 90, 93, 92. So I must
93,
have,
94, I believe.
yeah. So I must have just been born because I was born in 93. So
Oh, okay.
so he played the sports game and he fucking hated it. So then my brother, he was just like, yo, they came out with this really good game on the PlayStation. Check it out, because my brother's always been, like a video game, enthusiast too. So my dad got the first Resident Evil. So, but my thing was when I was a kid, Resident Evil scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I was not having it. I did not like it. I mean, now I can
Scared
look back on
everybody.
it. Yeah, it scared the piss out of me, man. Those zombies were creepy as fuck back in the day. But fighting games, they were my shit. What like let's talk fighting games because I'm a big Tekken fan, Mortal Kombat, you name it. I mean, what
Yeah, no, fighting games are what I'm known for. A
yeah.
lot of people are just like, wait, isn't like Resident Evil your favorite series? I was like, nope, my favorite series is to actually like my favorite, my for favorite genre, it's pretty much fighting games and
Yeah.
everything because I grew up playing fighting games in the arcades like everybody else did in the 90s because I was born in 87, so I'm 33 now. So like
Okay, yeah.
it's I was there when arcades were arcades type deal as the years went on, and I always played fighting games, and they've just been fantastic. The first time I ever played was Street Fighter 2, and I was
Yep.
on a vacation or somewhere. Yeah, it was a vacation at some campground in New Hampshire, and my best friend and I and his family and my family were all there.
Mhm.
And there was this long trail that just like went up to like this barn where like the barn was kind of like this like the main office area to check into these places, and it was still like very rural and everything like that. You had to bring your own trailers in or your own like camp like your own tents and all that jazz.
Mhm.
But they had like a rec room in there with like pinball machines and air hockey tables. But I saw all these people crowd around this big cabinet, and I went up to it and I see this this green beast like electrocuting this like Air Force guy and
Oh,
everything
Blanca,
with
yeah.
like all this Air Force
Yeah.
stuff in the back, and I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome. And
Yeah.
I played that for fucking hours, and
Yeah.
it hooked me. And then I started seeing it at like Blockbuster, and I was like, oh, that's the game I played when I was on vacation. Like, holy
Yep.
shit, this is how much I love fighting games. So I had this thing custom made.
Oh shit. Nice.
It's actually a Devil May Cry fight,
I love it.
and
It's awesome.
It's signed by the entire cast.
Holy shit.
Yep.
That'll be worth a bunch of money.
Yeah, well, I ain't selling it, so.
Oh, yeah, definitely
No,
don't.
I customized it myself. The buttons. I did the original layout, and then I sent the layout to a guy named New York's Finest on Twitter. He does a lot of graphics for fight sticks, headers for like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that
Yep.
stuff, and
That's
everything
awesome.
like that. And he made it better. He took the original design that I had and he improved on it because that's what he does. He's really good at what he does.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it. I got that, and I went to it was ConnectiCon last year, and I got Johnny Young Bosch, Ruben Langdon, Dan Southworth, and Brian Hanford to sign the whole thing. So it was great. And they were
That's
like, "Oh, you're
awesome.
gonna actually use it as a fight stick?" And I was like, "Man, it's too pretty to use." I feel like. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got like 5 other arcade sticks, but like I grew up in the arcades playing these games. Like
Yeah.
like Street Fighter and Tekken and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of X-Men versus Street Fighter. Because when I was younger, I was in a bowling league, like the junior division,
Oh
and
yeah.
every Saturday, me and my friends would go bowling, and then after we were done, we walked right upstairs to the arcade. And they had X-Men versus Street Fighter. They had Marvel superheroes. They at one point they put Tekken 3 in, and
Oh,
then Tekken Tag was
yes.
another one that they added later on.
Yeah.
They did have X-Men shown in the Atom, but they did swap that out at one point, which was a shame because that was really fun, as broken and busted of a fighting game as it is.
Yeah.
But I've always loved the fighting games, even like a lot of the newer ones too. Like some of them are really good, and then others leave a lot to be desired due to how
True.
they've
Aged.
handled them.
Yeah. I mean, I think the reason why I love Tekken so much is because it was easy to pick up. Me being a 4 or 5 year old kid when I first started actually playing video games, easy to pick up. Easy controls. The characters moved, very fluidly. The backgrounds were gorgeous. The music in Tekken 2, that was the first game I ever played. The music is amazing. I mean, even nowadays, I'll still chill to the fucking, to Jun Kazama's theme song. It's so good.
That's like one of the best themes from that
Oh
game.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then when Tekken 3 came out, that blew everybody's fucking mind. Like it was just phenomenal because you had like the Tekken Ball mode, and then you had you had Tekken Force, which was really cool, and then it just brought like a grit to Tekken that nobody ever saw before. So it was definitely revolutionary. But no, Tekken is my favorite probably game genre. I feel like story-wise it fell off in Tekken 7, which I mean I hope they bring back, the older style, the arcadey feel, but yeah, no, like Tekken games and fighting games in general are really awesome.
Well, Tekken was like for the longest time I wasn't sure they were ever going to come back because
Yeah.
Tekken 6 in my opinion was probably like one of the worst in the franchise like
Oh
later. I
yeah,
mean, 4,
definitely.
4 was bad, everything graphically it looked beautiful at the time, but
True.
roster-wise it was terrible. And then
Yeah.
5 came out, and 5 was just as fun as 3 was. People were playing the hell out of 5, and then 6
5
came
was
out, and I
good
felt
too,
like
yeah.
nobody cared about 6. And I played it when I was actually I was traveling to England for a month, and I played it at I think it
Mhm.
was like an FMV store. I can't remember the name of the store, but I was playing. It was like they had it at the kiosk and stuff. It was all the characters unlocked and shit, and I was
Yep.
fighting like all these people there, and it just didn't feel like Tekken. I didn't really enjoy it.
No.
And then 7 finally came out because it was in the arcades for like 4 years before it
Mhm.
finally made its way to
Yeah,
consoles.
I know. For like 3
Um,
years
and
almost.
yeah, and they would actually update the arcades too. They would go and they would update all these arcade boards. So for the
Really?
fact that was crazy.
Yeah.
But Tekken, I think games like Tekken and especially Dead or Alive, they are the easiest ones to get into control wise because they feel a bit more fluent than something
True.
like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter.
What I've always loved in fighting games was computer versus computer mode. Like even the Dragon Ball Z games back in the day, like the Budokai games, those are
Oh
fucking
yeah,
great. I loved. Oh, here's a game that you probably haven't thought of in a good while: Bushido Blade.
I
Like
just
I
played that the other
fucking.
day.
Oh, you did really? Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I have. I know of it and everything. And I have played it, but yeah, it's been a while since I've heard or played it.
Oh yeah, that's great. Bushido Blade is awesome. And then there's a couple others like Dead or Alive. Another game that you probably haven't thought of in a while. Battle Arena Toshinden. That was fucking awesome.
That was a launch title for the PS1.
Oh really? I didn't know that. Huh.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That game definitely looks old. I wish they. I hope they bring it back and make a remake of that. That's one of the games that I definitely want to see remade in the future.
I actually have that on the Sega Saturn.
Oh really? That's
I
awesome.
think I have the PS1 version. Maybe it could be there. It could be over. It could be over here in my other pile in the closet and shit. But yeah, no, Battle Arena, like that was one that they do. I think that would make a good comeback for a while. Like,
Oh definitely.
it's weird. It's hard to say when a fighting game is gonna do good
That's
because
true.
people were excited for Eureka EX Lair,
Mhm.
or Fighting Eureka, or whatever that one was. And
Never heard of it.
the Eureka style ones, these characters kind of existed in those the Street Fighter EX series,
Okay.
anything like Skullomania and all them,
Okay.
and they eventually got their own game because they never had their own game, And this game came out, and it for a guest character, they actually had Terry Bogard, which is like why I was going to play the game. But the
Okay.
game really kind of died out quick, and it didn't have a big following in many ways. And it's kind of like, as sad as it is to say, like Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown comes back after being absent for so long.
I've heard
but
of
I
it,
think
yeah.
that was the problem. Samurai Showdown was never like a super popular like fighter compared to like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and even Tekken
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. Like a lot of people never really heard of Samurai Showdown.
Yeah.
So
true.
when it came back and it did get the hype, a lot of people just didn't get on board with it, and I felt that the game, with after a week, was kind of already like dead in the waters, which sucks because it's a fun, beautiful game.
Yeah, I never played it before, but I think I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
They're
before.
very different games.
The
And
King
then
of
you got
Fighters
that
series
weird
was good too.
You got that weird life of Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah, dude, Soul Calibur. That game, the first one was probably I think one of the best fighting games ever made, and then the second one came out, and that was really phenomenal too. The third one was horrible. Fourth one, that was also really really bad. But they
3
came
and 4
back
were
strong.
really rough.
They came back strong with the fifth one though. I was really surprised.
I was actually really disappointed with the fifth one, to be
Really?
honest. Like five's like, well, the thing was like they took a lot of things that were like characters and stuff like that and just like left them out, and I
Yeah,
felt
that's
that
true.
was just the wrong thing to do. Like the Sophia, who's like a fan favorite, was gone.
Oh, yeah.
And it just didn't keep the appeal to me, and I was kind of done with the game after a while. I did play a fair amount of it,
Yep.
much more than I did Soul Calibur 4.
Okay,
But
yeah.
when
No,
the
4
newest
was
one came
horrible.
out, Soul Calibur 6, that's where I was just like, all right, let's see what this is about. And I'm glad I got it, because that game was like a return to form. I love the character creation.
Oh
in that.
no! I meant 6. 6. Yeah, when they came back with 6 years later, I meant to say 6. I forgot that there was a 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
5 was the one where like they took
Yeah.
out like Athena was gone, and Sophia was gone.
Yeah.
And she was like the boss or whatever at the end of the game. Like I didn't pay much attention to it and everything. The lore was really weird. The lore has always been weird in Soul Calibur.
Yeah, kind of.
Like that was the thing. Like Soul Calibur was just a game that like it was like a coin flip, like anything else. And even I was skeptical when I heard they were making another one, because I was really worried because the last one wasn't good. And
Yeah.
then like things like DOA, it was the same thing. Dead or Alive has been pretty good for as many as the years have gone on. Like
Yeah.
the original DOA 1, great. 2, awesome. 3, fantastic on the OG Xbox. And then
It's been pretty consistent.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
they remade well, they didn't remake, but they made Dead or Alive Ultimate 1 and 2.
Yep.
And they were optimized for the newer ones. And 2 was just a complete remake of the original for the Dreamcast.
I didn't
And
know that.
yeah, like if you look at the graphics on DOA 2 Ultimate on Xbox compared to the Dreamcast version, it's night and day. It's they used the graphical engine from DOA 3 to remake DOA 2.
Okay.
So essentially, it's the same game. They just threw a fuck ton more outfits in there. They put a lot of love into that game, and it was great. And it could go online back in the day, too. 2 was the first DOA game to go online. And then 4 comes out on the 360. It's all right.
Yeah.
It still had that love that the series was there and everything, but
Yep.
but people got burnt out from it because I can't remember the reason why. Everybody always said it. I liked it, but it was because it was only the only one to play at the time for newer ones. And then 5 comes out, a little rocky start. They come out with Ultimate, did really good with that, and then they made Last Round.
Yeah.
And that was great. Like Last Round was good. And I defend the DLC to that. Now I don't defend DLC that often.
Mm-hmm.
But people are always like, oh, they're charging us for these outfits. This is stupid. And I was like, look, this game, DOA 5 was supported for like 7 years.
Yeah.
Throughout. Now, yes, it was outfits, but there was balance patches. That money that you're paying for these outfits pays the company so they're able to make these new outfits, these balance patches, to get these new characters in. And they did that. And I respect them for that. DOA 6, however, I dropped after like a week.
Really?
Because that game is garbage. They did a bullshit practice on that. It is literally
I didn't play
the
6.
Street Fighter 5 of DOA.
Okay, well that definitely gives me more of a reason not to pick it up, because I was gonna get it when it came out, but no.
I wanted to play it I wanted to play it like right when it dropped at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So I digitally downloaded it on the PS4, and because we all know how the PlayStation is,
Yeah.
you download something, that's it, it's yours. You ain't returning nothing.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
After a week, even the initial playthrough, there's no outfits in the game. Like,
Really?
Like the regular ones that you can unlock and stuff. it's all the same outfit, like Ryu Hayabusa's main outfit or Kasumi's main blue outfit, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's just color swaps of them. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, there
Huh.
are some alternate outfits too that they do include within the game, but it's not nearly enough as what the others did.
Huh.
And characters that were launch characters in DOA 5 are now DLC characters in DOA 6,
Dude, that
which doesn't make
sucks.
sense because these characters are like some of these characters are owned by the company. So why are they left out? You're just because the thing of it is they reuse assets.
Yeah.
Right?
They do a
So
lot of, they do the same thing with wrestling games too. Like the wrestling games back in the day, like the SmackDown versus Raw series. Have you ever played that? Those games are fucking
I played the
excellent.
original one.
Yeah, they're really good. Even like the original SmackDown games itself, like Know Your Role and Know Your Role was the second one. The first one, Know Your Role, Shut Your Mouth, Here Comes the Pain, and then the SmackDown versus Raw series, they were all fucking good. And then 2K, WWE 2K, and then it was fucking horrible. It really was not good at all. So yeah, I mean, I get that.
Yeah, like it's just like they know people are going to buy them, so they're not going to fix these games. They're not going to do
Exactly.
what they should be doing with these games. And I think it's fucking terrible that they're allowed to put out half-ass products like this and have the balls to charge you $60.
The last one, it was so meme worthy the way that this game was. Dude, you saw it, right? Did you see
Oh, I
any memes
saw
of
the
it?
glitches. I saw the videos
Oh
about
man,
it.
it was
And I was
bad.
it's like, see, I'm not like a wrestling fan really, but I'll play those games, especially if you get to make yourself into the game.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
that stuff I always love games where you can make yourself a character. That's why one of the reasons why I love Soul Calibur. It's one of the reasons
Yeah, me
why
too.
I love Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah,
Anything. And same with even wrestling games on the N64 had like an editing system.
yeah.
as
They
limited
were
as
they were really good too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
they were. Yeah, like you feel that they're limited, but then you really go back and you're like, yeah, it's actually not that bad for the time. You feel it should actually be a lot more limited. Like, I remember
exactly.
there was that Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods game or something like that came, or Battle of Z or whatever it was.
Battle of
They
Z.
gave you a character creation option in it, but it was bullshit. It's like they barely even put any effort into actually like letting you customize the character. Then Xenoverse comes out, and Xenoverse is just like all over the place.
Oh yeah, Xenoverse was great. I like the second one better. I didn't play a lot. I didn't play them all that much. But from what I played, I mean, I just miss like the whole computer versus computer thing. I want to see the computer smash up the computer, like like unlikely battles, like Broly versus BoJack or some shit like that. Like
Yeah.
I love that, personally, but I don't know. Not everybody's a big fan. That's probably why they don't put that in fighting games anymore.
Seems like it, honestly. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so this was something that I did on my own podcast a while back.
Yeah.
I had two buddies of mine who are very more knowledgeable about fighting games than I am, and one of them is heavily like deep in the FGC. Like, he's always been a guy who knows he's in the know.
Yeah.
Right? And he's fought some of like the legendary guys out there, like Justin Wong and stuff, and he's in agreement. And so is my other buddy about why games are like they are today for fighting games. Esports fucked everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible how badly it is, because like it's turned a lot of people into rivals in the wrong ways. It's created friction, and it's affected game development. Street Fighter V launched in an abysmal way that should never have been what it was.
Yeah.
And everything like that, the low roster characters.
Yep.
And the fact that there was just so many online issues,
Yes.
and that was all because of esports. They wanted to
Really?
push it out. Now it could have been the sponsors and everything like that, but I don't know. It could have been the sponsors doing it and saying, "Hey, no, we want this out now. We're sponsoring this. We're running the show. You're getting money because we're doing it."
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case, but it feels like it is, because a lot of sponsors, when it comes to TV, they control what happens in TV shows, which is why I like Netflix, because they don't answer to anybody.
I mean, it just sucks because 4 was phenomenal, and like they had so much time in between 4 to 5 to, like even improve on it and bring in some new characters that you haven't seen before. Like, I mean, obviously they did. They brought Birdie back and whatever, and a couple others. I haven't really played 5 all that much. I played it for a little bit. I don't really exactly remember the roster, but everything just looks so different, but in like a bad way. Not a good way. I don't think, at least.
It's a video that I do want to make at one point.
Yeah.
What Street Fighter 6 needs to do to be good. Now, a lot of people have said, why doesn't Street Fighter look like Dragon Ball Fighters? Why don't we hire the guys at Arxis to do this? And
I don't think it would work.
I think for Street Fighter it would work.
You
Like
think
maybe
so?
like just in terms of the art style. Right?
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Not like gameplay wise, because
Okay.
gameplay Arxis games are different than like Street Fighter games and everything like that.
Very
as
much
as
so,
they
yeah.
Do have similarity.
Yeah,
Because
that's
I
why I
played
didn't.
Guilty Gear for years with my buddies and everything like that. Again,
Yeah.
going back to the game store and stuff,
Mhm.
we had like 7 TVs in the store, and then the one main one right behind the main desk, and we're all just there, like we're all eating puppuccinos because there's a puppuccinos right next door. And my buddy who worked at the store, his girlfriend at the time would always give us like hookups and extra shit and everything like that, extra food. And
Yep.
we were just like cracking hardcore on like Guilty Gear, and like Street Fighter 4 was a big one too, because the time that it came out was like 2008, 2009.
Yeah, Street Fighter
but
4 at
I've always
launch, that
said-
game was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, there is a lot
yeah.
wrong with the game, but they did a lot of
Fair.
good with it, and they supported it for like I think 7 years or 8 years.
Exactly.
But I would love to see the art style change, because starting with President.
Yeah, I
Street
know. I
Fighter
say
4
Resident Evil all the time too when I'm
Yeah, like,
talking about other
it just-
games.
It was just there in my head.
I know.
But Street Fighter 4, the art style isn't terrible, but I wasn't a fan of the whole, let's go from hand-drawn sprites to this new era of, 3D models, right? And then I was like, you know
Yeah.
what, I'll it's a new thing, whatever. 5 comes out, and it's their anatomy for those characters are fucking stupid. Like
Yeah.
Rashid, when he does his win pose and everything like that,
Mhm.
like when he comes up from winning and stuff at
Yeah.
that final screen, his hands are bigger than his head. It's like he got stung by bees and had an allergic reaction, and his hand just blew up. Like
Yeah.
Ryu's like so bulked out, and so is Guile, that
I
they
know.
don't look like. I mean, like they normally are bulked out characters, but they're
Yeah.
in the anatomy just doesn't match up.
Yeah, steroids.
And then a lot of people are just like, "Oh, what about Chun-Li? She looks unrealistic." I was like, "Dude, I have friends that look like Chun-Li. Okay, like they are not too far off from looking like her. So
Really
it's not that
thick,
it's not possible.
thick
Hers
ass,
is
thick
actually
ass
pretty
thighs like
decent.
that.
Huh?
You've met girls with like thick ass thighs like that.
Well,
Really?
like I said, for like photo shoots, I do a lot of cosplay stuff and everything like that. But at the same time, I do more than just cosplay stuff. I do
Yeah.
I do modeling, I do
Okay.
headshots, I
Yeah.
do fitness photography and everything like that. So, so like I've met
That's
a lot of
interesting.
people, and if you even look online, like on Instagram, like all like the fitness
Oh yeah.
models,
True.
there's
true.
one down in Florida. I can't remember her name and stuff like that, but she got her fame because she wore a black dress
Mhm.
with like gold trim on or something like that. And her body type was the exact same as Chun-Li. She had the thighs and everything else.
That's
so
crazy.
she
Damn.
ran with that fame for like a full like couple of weeks.
I mean, she is the first lady in fighting games. You know, she could squash a watermelon with those thighs. Seriously, I would be afraid.
Well, like one of my friends actually does a very good job at being Chun-Li. She we shot her Chun-Li Anime New York 2 years ago, and she did
Okay.
great. Like, cause like the area that we were in was like really empty, so it was like perfect. There was like like no problems, like no people like coming through the background. Because when you do photography at conventions, you can't. Sometimes you're gonna get people in the crowd, and
Yeah.
it can't help it. But this
Yeah.
time around, it was great. And one of my other friends makes a really good Chun-Li. We actually went to Chinatown to do this fight
Yeah.
and everything. We did like a fight scene, like we did.
Oh, that's awesome.
We did it by the Chinatown gates in Boston and everything, and
That's
it
awesome.
was awesome. And but yeah, like I said, I think Street Fighter 6 needs an overhaul in their looks department.
Definitely.
Either go back to like sprite work,
Yeah.
because let's face it, if you've played King of Fighters, I think it was 13, the last one that came out on the PS3 and the 360.
That's something that I wanted to check out. But
Dude,
yeah.
check that out when you can.
Okay.
That game's graphics alone make the game worth playing. Like the animation style in it, it's all hand drawn, looks beautiful. Dragon
Okay.
Ball Fighters, that old style would look amazing with Street Fighter, because Street Fighter needs the overhaul, because it's just something that they're not doing right. They also need to have good netcode. They need
Yep.
to have characters that we want. And
Yes,
everything. Not that
yes.
5 did. See, a lot of people got pissed at 5 because it was pretty much called Street Fighter 5 Final Fight Reunion, because you get to play as Cody, you get
Yeah.
to play as Lucia, who's from the third Final Fight. What was it? Poison's back in it.
Yeah.
Hugo's out of it. He was replaced by Abigail. So a lot of people were really upset by that, and I was just like, "Hey, man, like because I love Final Fight."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I could see like there were some characters like the weird thing is they could have added more characters to Street Fighter V, but they're not going to because Seth is out, and Seth has the ability to absorb other characters' abilities now. He doesn't
Yeah.
just have them off the bat like he did in 4.
Okay.
He absorbs them. And
That's cool. I mean, that's different.
It's cool, but it also means this game's done in terms of characters, because if a new character comes in, then the company has to go back and program a whole nother move set for Seth, and I just don't think that's something they're going to do.
Probably not. No.
And that's why I think Street Fighter V is done in terms of characters. See,
Probably.
E Honda was one of the last characters to come out too, before like Seth and before
Really?
Gil, and I'm just like, he was one of the original 8 World Warriors. He should have been in this game long ago, because he was the last original of the 8 Warriors, 8 World Warriors from the first Street Fighter 2 game.
Yeah.
And I was bummed out because I like playing as E Honda. I discovered how
too.
fun he was with Street Fighter 4.
Oh, he's so good. The palm strikes are awesome. I just like spamming that shit. It's so fun.
I learned how to do like rotating grabs and stuff like that with him too, like
Yeah.
like stuff I wasn't really able to do with like Zangief and grappler characters and such. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I love
like I
E-Honda.
love fighting games to death. They
Me too.
are like what I love the most. I've got a lot of love for them, but at
Me
the
too.
same time, I got to be critical of them when
Yeah,
they
definitely.
screw up, because we don't want to see it. I mean, okay,
Exactly.
so best example, right? Fighting
Yep.
game community, when it comes to like, a guy like IFC Yipes and a
Yep.
lot of the other guys in the FGC, when it comes to things like Marvel 2, they have kept MVC2 alive. For 10 years, it was on EVO's main stage, and it was supposed to come back this year, but we don't
Yeah.
know with the coronavirus if EVO's even going to be a thing.
Probably not.
Yeah, because we've got everybody flying from all over the world. Now, if they do this, if they
Yeah.
do EVO,
Yeah.
I think they need to do what a lot of other people are suggesting what sports are doing.
Yeah.
Sports are going to start opening up everywhere, like wrestling. I heard about that in Florida. It's essential. And they want to open up baseball stadiums
Yep.
just to the players.
Mhm.
And you're going to be able to watch the game like it's a regular season.
Yeah.
And I think that EVO can do the same thing, because let's face it, it's EVO.
Yeah, it's legendary. I love watching Evo every year. The competition is so stiff. I mean,
Yeah.
Sonic Fox, when he's in the Mortal Kombat tournaments, man, he's so good. I love him.
He's really good at a lot of
He's
things.
so good. Yeah, I know.
It's crazy how many like other games he's good at.
He also
like,
plays
that's the
Tekken
thing.
too, I think.
Yeah, we all watch these games
Oh, yeah.
live.
Yeah.
So why not continue it? Sure, fly
Exactly.
everybody out like you're going to, right?
Yeah.
And just do that. Like just have them all, like just have the guys on the main stage themselves, spaced apart,
Yeah.
and you're good to go.
I mean, I would say even like maybe like do kind of like what we're doing, only like like do the competition that way. But here's the thing, like that would people could cheat easily like that. So I mean that probably wouldn't work out. But
Like the thing is, the reason why you got to have it side by side is because you don't want to deal with bad net code or internet.
yeah,
So like fighting a guy in Korea,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be the strongest net code, especially if you're playing
True.
something like Street Fighter V where their net code's not that good anyway.
yeah,
It's kind of a problem.
true,
with that. So,
true.
Like I say, just invite all the fighters that were gonna come into this, for these big ones. Just like have the original guys come in or something, like last year's champions and runner-ups face up again or something. I don't know. I don't know if that could be done, but I
Yeah.
want to see MVC2 because I love MVC2. That's why I just
Me
bought
too.
that arcade stick I did recently.
Oh really? That's awesome.
It's we call them the Green Goblins.
Yeah.
Everything for arcade sticks on the Dreamcast, and they are like some of the most dedicated like arcade sticks that are sturdy and durable.
Huh.
Right? It's got like a white shell. Hold on, I can send it to you.
Okay.
Let me find it. Yep, here it is. It's coming from Japan, so it's gonna take a while. It won't get here until like a month, but there it is, right there in the chat.
It's in the chat. Okay.
The Discord chat.
Okay. Let me check it out. Hold on. Oh, that actually looks really cool. I love that color. That color green is one of my favorite colors. I'm also
the
a
funny
big.
thing is, you see how there's that hole in the middle? That's where the VMU goes.
Okay. All right.
So, like
That's
the
what's
Dreamcast,
up.
the old memory cards.
Yeah.
And it's not just for fighting games too. Like that thing, me and my buddy, we played like arcade games on that and everything, and stuff like Dynamite Cop and everything back in the day on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
It's such a great, strongly built arcade stick, which you can't really say that much about a lot of them these days. with
Yeah.
unless you pay like $300.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
All mine I've gotten on sale or from a
Yeah.
buddy. I actually it's packed away. I can see it from here though. One of my fight sticks is actually signed by Daigo himself.
That's awesome.
Yep, it was actually
awesome.
it belonged to a buddy of mine, but he was having money issues, and he's like, "Dude, before I sell this, like, I know you're a Street Fighter guy. I know you like collectibles. Like, would you want this fight stick? Is this something that you actually want?" And I was just like, "Of course, dude. I'll buy that off you."
Yeah, right.
And they'll give you a hand. So I have that, and I have like I said, 4 or 5 other arcade sticks, but.
I don't have any just because like I've always been a controller fan. You know, like I'm better on controller. I don't really
same.
like.
I'm better on controller as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's certain games that when you play them on an arcade stick,
It's a different
I just do
experience.
better. Like Tekken,
Yeah.
I do way better on a controller.
Really?
I can't really
Yeah,
use an
well,
arcade
yeah, me
stick
too,
to play
me too.
Tekken.
I thought you were gonna say you were better on a stick, because
No,
those Tekken's very sturdy. So it's like you don't. It's hard to move with stick and do the moves that you
like-
want to do without fucking up.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
for me personally, the best games I use arcade sticks with are the Versus series, whether it's like, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, MVC 1, 2, a little bit of 3. Like I can use an arcade stick with 3, but I really just use controller more.
Yeah.
Because like I said, all the arcade sticks I've bought were all on sale. Amazon
Okay.
always had some kind of sale. Because I follow Wario64 on Twitter,
Okay. Yeah.
and that guy has the deals for everything. He just finds them. I don't know how
That's
the hell
awesome.
this guy does it. He literally drains
Well-connected.
my wallet faster than an ex-wife. Like it is
Nice.
crazy. Like he will like have all the deals up like that, and I'll
Yeah.
come across like arcade sticks, like the Devil May Cry one I got. That thing I think is normally like 200, like what it originally is, and I customized it, so obviously it was more money.
Mhm.
But I only spent about 120 on it, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I mean, that's
Yeah,
not too much. Like you were saying, the good ones are about 300. So about halfway is probably where I'd
Yeah.
want to go. My route, anyways.
Mm.
But last thing about fighting games, and then we'll move on to the next subject. So there's been like stuff something supposedly in the works and then not in the works, and then it's been what are they called, not like scrapped or whatever. Tekken versus Street Fighter, Tekken X Street Fighter. Like, do you want to see that? Because I'm pretty stoked about it. I really want to see that game. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would
I would
I
buy
would
that in a
love to
heartbeat.
see that because I feel the reason why Akuma was put into Tekken
Yeah.
was he was a testing dummy
Mm-hmm.
for this. I
And
mean,
it worked out well.
It worked out very well.
Exactly.
Geese Howard ends up in it, and the
Yep.
fighting style of the King of Fighters works in a Tekken game.
Absolutely.
Whereas
Yeah, I
Street
know.
Fighter
It was
Cross
weird.
Tekken, nothing worked that well.
No, not at
As
all.
much as I did love a lot of things about the game, it was tough.
Me too.
Um,
I thought it looked good.
I didn't think it looked good. I thought it was again. I don't like that 3D style.
Oh,
Like
well,
that
I thought it
3D
was
style that they
interesting.
have and how unproportionate the people. Because I went to art school and photography and everything, so like that kind of stuff just irks
Yeah.
me the wrong way.
Get you. I get you. Yeah.
But yeah, no. If that game happens, which I believe Harada says it's on the back burner, but it's not off the table. He just
Yeah.
needs to know that people want it. And I think after the hype of Tekken 7 dies down,
Yep.
and I don't think they're gonna make another Soul Calibur because Soul Calibur 6 is still doing pretty decent.
Probably
I
not.
think.
Yeah.
That might be the game they focus on making because this
hope
is the
so.
Tekken guys making it, not Capcom.
I hope so. Yeah. No, I've like the Tekken guys are always really good about balancing out their games, which is something that Street Fighter has had a problem with before. So I definitely want to see where it goes. I love a lot of the Street Fighter characters. I don't play Street Fighter all that much because like the controls are not my favorite. Coming from obviously playing original Tekken, and then playing Street Fighter down the line, it just wasn't something that I was used to. So I mean, I go obviously more towards Tekken and like new Mortal Kombat. Older Mortal Kombat is kind of like That was a little before my time, but I like the older Mortal Kombats the most. Like, probably from like Deadly Alliance onwards. But I would love to see a Tekken X Street Fighter game. I mean, just thinking about like Paul versus Blanca, that would be fucking epic.
I think if like I said, they got that to work. But here's the thing: they got one guy's fight style to work, the Shoto type.
Yeah.
So how is that going to play off for everything else. Like all the other characters who are charge characters, like Guile, or
Yeah.
grappling characters like Zangief. Like, how is this all gonna play and work well? So,
I
like I
mean,
said, it just
it's hard to say.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
time. It's one of those little things where only time will tell.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I hope when it does happen, or if it does, it's done right.
Oh, absolutely. Me too. I mean, it's definitely just, gonna be definitely wait for, a wait and see type thing. It's probably not gonna happen anytime soon, but I'm definitely stoked about it. It's something that I've been looking forward to when they announced that they were gonna do it back in what, like 2014, 2020, 2012?
Can't remember exactly, but
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next subject. I know you're a big anime fan. I am too. I haven't watched a lot of anime just because like I just started getting into it probably about 4 or 5 years ago. But I've always been a big Dragon Ball Z fan. I grew up with that. That's like my mainstay. I'm a big Bleach fan. I'm a big Death Note. Death Note's my shit. My Hero Academia. All that shit. What do you like as when it comes to anime and stuff like that?
I like the action stuff. I don't watch
Me
a
too.
lot of new anime because I come from the era of like the '90s and 2000s anime.
Yes.
So I don't really like a lot of the newer stuff I've seen. People always
Yep.
got to tell me, "Oh, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. Oh, no, you're gonna love this." And I give it a try. Like everybody, my girlfriend, they all tried to get me to
Yep.
to watch Attack on Titan. And I
Yeah.
finally caved. I watched it and I gave up after 9 episodes.
Really? Okay. Yeah. That's one that I was planning on checking out, but I mean, I just haven't been really interested in it. Like giants fighting, it's like okay. I feel like I've
I mean,
seen
like
this
the
before.
animation's good. I just feel like a lot. It's just not for me. I just find it
Yeah.
dumb,
Yeah.
honestly. Like, but that's
Yeah.
just me. But like, I mean, I really love games. Animes. Like, my favorite anime of all time is Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay. Yeah.
That
That's a good
is
one.
literally one of the best animes you can ever watch because it never disappoints.
I also love Inuyasha. Inuyasha was great back in the day.
Yeah,
Um.
I did watch a lot of Inuyasha
Yep.
back in the day, especially with one of my friends in because we were she and I were in high school together and we would watch it a lot. This is like the early 2000s
Yeah.
where like
Yep.
anime wasn't cool and shit like that, so you couldn't really talk. I mean, I talked about it anyway because I was taller and bigger than everybody in my school, so if anybody gave me shit, I'd just smack them. But
See, I was the opposite. I was that small lanky kid that weighed 90 pounds. But
yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't always this big. Like I was actually a lot like I in high school, I
Yeah.
looked like Steven Seagal. I had the ponytail and everything like
That's
that. I
awesome.
was slim. I was muscled out too. And now I just look like how Steven Seagal does now.
Steven, yeah, no, you're not that big. Steven
Well, no,
Seagal's
I
a
mean
big dude.
I've lost a lot of weight and everything like that. So,
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah.
I've been working on that. But, so like I was saying, Yu Yu Hakusho was always great. Inuyasha was great. I used to love Inuyasha a lot until like you delve in and you start and you remember that originally Kagome was supposed to be with Shishomaru,
Yeah.
and there was a whole thing planned out like how that could have worked, and I guess the fans really didn't want that to happen. They wanted Inuyasha and Kagome together, and it just does. To me, even back then, it never felt that like it was legit, like a good romance for them.
No.
I still loved it for the action.
It felt like a very toxic relationship, kind of.
Yeah, they were both
In a
dicks
way.
to each other.
Yeah. They both like smacked each other around and shit. It's like
Yep.
I'm not really a big fan of that shit. But
Yeah, I also really loved Pokemon back in the day, back in 1998.
oh, me too. Yeah.
Because that was like the biggest thing. I had it on the original Game Boy and stuff. I love Digimon. I thought was always better than Pokemon because like it actually had like themes and dealt with a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It was heavily censored. I remember that because you could
Yeah.
tell like when the characters who were smoking and
Mhm.
everything like that. It's like
Yeah.
they're pulling out these sticks and it's just like we know that's a cigarette. Like come
Oh,
on.
definitely. Yeah. Right.
But then obviously like the Toonami thing came in and you get things
Yeah.
like Dragon Ball Z. You get
Yep.
introduced in that. Dragon Ball had aired like previously
Yeah.
on like another I think it was like UPN 38 back in the day. Like it
Something
it
like
never
that,
finished
yeah.
off its run. But then all the anime came in from there.
Yeah.
Adult Swim introduced everybody to like like other ones like Trigun.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Fully
Yep.
Cooley. Hell yeah. I fucking love that. That
I,
Fooly
I
Cooley's my
actually,
favorite.
I actually hated Fooly Cooley.
Oh, really?
I tried back in high school.
Yeah.
Like all the nerds were talking about it, and I watched it when it was on, the Adult Swim and everything, and
Yep.
I couldn't get into it.
Really?
I
Huh.
tried.
I
It
just
was
thought it
just
was
it's
interesting.
a
It was weird.
sensory overload.
Yeah, it was just really weird, and like I said before, like weird just gets my body all worked up. I love weird shit. Like the Binding of Isaac, Mortal Kombat, just like bloody, gory, like weird shit, saying weird things. Just I love that stuff. But I also yeah, Toonami on Adult Swim was awesome. I mean, that was like legitimately my favorite thing to do after school when I was like in the third, fourth grade. I mean, obviously you're 7 years older than me, so yeah. But I loved I loved Adult Swim and all the anime on there. It was so good.
they they all like a lot of the ones that they would show, and that even the ones that they never finished and everything showing were
Mm-hmm.
always really good. And like even if Adult Swim didn't, like I said, finish airing a lot of them, like there was something like Witch Hunter Robin and all those, people still got into those things, like Zatch Bell and all these other ones. People would get into them, and like I said, I really love those. Outlaw Star, I think, is an amazing anime that doesn't get
Yep.
enough love, or even it's not even remembered that much anymore. Like, and it told a really damn good story, and graphics wise,
Yep.
it still beats out a lot of anime of today. Same with Cowboy Bebop. That like Cowboy Bebop,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
like, if I had to do a non-biased like top 10,
Yep.
and I had to go by like what these shows did,
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop would be the number one anime of all time for that list. But my personal favorite's Yu Yu Hakusho.
Honestly, I think when it comes to Cowboy Bebop, it's like less is more. I mean, the animation wasn't all that great, but it was unique in its time, and it's basically timeless. It's like you're kind of like you're digging up a capsule that you dug in 2000, and it's 2020, and you're just like, why the fuck did I put this thing in here? I don't even remember.
Cowboy Bebop has just really aged beautifully and has done so well
Yeah.
over the years.
Yep.
And I call it the gateway anime, because I always told people, it's like, look, if you ever have somebody that naysays anime
Yeah.
or anything like that, have them watch the first episode of Cowboy Bebop, and you're gonna see it's not like every other anime. Because people would think
No, it's
anime
not.
back in the day and instantly think things like Dragon Ball Z, where there's a guy screaming and look like he's gonna take a crap, or like Pokemon and everything like that. That's like what people thought back in the day. But then
Yeah.
I've always told people, it's like, no, you got to watch this. Or anything like watch like I would give people my DVDs of Cowboy Bebop and show them that. And even Samurai Champloo was kind of the same thing. That was a little bit anime like, but it still retained a lot of like like what people loved about Cowboy Bebop. Both
Yeah.
shows were short and had endings that made people go, really? Like, not in a bad way, but it was just like, huh, okay.
Yeah, I like stuff that makes you think.
Yeah, and Cowboy Bebop is definitely a show that makes you think.
Yep.
So,
that was just funny what you said. Like it does look like every Dragon Ball Z character is taking a shit.
Yeah, like
but,
that was the thing for years, but people did like eventually like grow out of that whole saying and realize that the shows were actually pretty good.
And honestly, dude, Dragon Ball Super is probably the best thing I've ever watched in my life. Like, I thought it was so phenomenally done. It looks beautiful. Storytelling was phenomenal. It was just an all-out fucking brawl, and I'm a big wrestling fan, like I said before. So, like, the Royal Rumble is my favorite event, and it's just like that was the Royal Rumble times 1,000 on steroids.
Oh, the
like,
Tournament of Power, yeah.
Yes.
There's unfortunately a lot that I have an issue with Super and its storytelling and why things are happening like they do.
I mean, it has things.
Yeah, but I mean, like, especially since like the Goku Black arc, a lot of the things that happen in that and they do things in that don't make any sense. Like how Trunks all of a sudden has the Spirit Sword.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a little odd
technique
too.
he was never taught. Now, one way around that, and I said this, and a lot of people agreed with me on this. I love the fact that like the Supreme Kai comes to Trunks and tells him about Majin Buu, and he defeats both the Babidi and Deborah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was wondering if that was ever going to be a thing in Trunks' time. Like, I like that. That was good. If Trunks had also said, he goes, yeah, I actually went to King Kai's planet, and I was taught by him, like that. I was taught these things. Then that Spirit Sword, Spirit Bomb thing that he used at the end on Zamasu would have made a little bit more sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, like it just, and then then like all those people like just got wiped out because Zeno saw like Zamasu and just wiped them all out, and I was just like, that's it. And so I thought I thought it was weird that they did it like that. And the
Yeah.
Tournament of Power, for the most part, though, I have almost no complaints
Yeah.
because the animation in a lot of the episodes get amped up because of the animator that they bring in to work on these.
Yeah.
And I respect those guys because they did a great job on a lot of them. But certain things like Master Roshi being able to fight against Frost.
Oh, dude, that was awesome. Man,
I
Master
loved
Roshi
it,
is the
but
best.
it made no sense. He should not have been able to do that.
That's
I mean,
true.
he did, and Frost ended it quickly, which was, like he smacked him down. I was like, okay, that's a little bit believable.
Yeah.
TN wasted. I love TN, but he was
Yeah.
wasted in that.
Yeah,
he did
definitely.
nothing that entire tournament. He knocked out like I think 2 guys or something. And
Yeah.
it's just like I hate the fact that they left out Majin Buu. Now,
Yeah,
I don't like
I know.
the Fat Buu.
I know.
I never really liked his character.
Yeah.
But after seeing what he did during that tournament where they were in the universe one.
Yeah, he was
with the
badass.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it just shows you that Boo knows what he's doing. Like
Yeah.
he's not like this brainless lump of pink.
True.
He knows what he's doing. He's actually a brilliant fighter. And then when he faces Goku, when he's all like, slimmed up and everything like that, he knows even more.
Yeah.
Like then he lets on. He knocks Goku out of. I mean, they obviously weren't like trying for real.
Yeah.
But he did knock Goku out of the area that Mr. Satan had set up.
Yep.
So the fact that they built that up, I'm sorry, they could have left TN out.
Yeah, they definitely could have.
They could have just left TN out.
He didn't really do jack shit. I mean, they gave Roshi his spotlight. They gave Krillin his spotlight, which I thought was really, really good. Like, I really liked that because for a long time, Krillin was like that weak little, fucker that just gets knocked around every 3 seconds and that's it,
He gets knocked around, but he's my favorite character because he was there for, and Master Roshi actually mentions it in when the Resurrection of F Saga, not the movie, but the anime version of it.
Yeah.
Like where Krillin's fighting off against the Frieza guys, and he realizes, oh, these guys aren't that strong. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And Master Roshi's like, Krillin, you've been front row seat to some of the greatest fights in all of history. You've learned more than than you know. Just unleash. And like he actually like starts kicking the crap out of everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was really great. And then like there's the whole thing like where Goku and like Krillin are training together later on and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
All that kind of stuff really worked well. And the Tournament of Power did end on a good note. And then obviously the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, which I got to see in theaters, which
dude, that was
awesome.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, in theaters, seeing that on the screen, I'm just like,
dude, I was blown away the whole time. The anime, like I said, the fucking animation was fucking awesome. The story was great. Oh man, it's just like I never thought Dragon Ball was gonna come back. And Dragon Ball Super, honestly, it does have its problems, but I'm happy with what they did. I'm happy with what they're doing, and they're gonna continue doing it for a little while. I think Harada said so. I'm definitely looking out for that to see what they do in the future. But also I wanted to talk about like you mentioned Pokemon. I watched that probably like 2 or 3 years ago, and I never realized how fucking funny that anime is. Like it's hilarious. Every episode, there's something hilarious that happens. It's funny.
The earlier seasons of the show were pretty good.
Yeah, they were really good.
I went back and watched a lot of them when they went on like Netflix and everything, and you realize how much of it hasn't aged that well.
True.
But there are a lot of things like when you watch like certain fights and matches, they're just unreal. They're really good. And,
I know.
Now like in the newer animes, Ash finally won a Pokemon League because he never won one in his entire existence.
I know.
Well, except for the Orange Island League, but everybody always forgets about the Orange Islands, which I actually thought was a good arc. I actually enjoyed
it was all right
back in the day.
Yeah, but
love the games too. The games are great. When I got Pokemon Soul Silver and that could go online, I was so happy. I was trading Pokemon with my friends down in Mexico who are also Resident Evil fans.
Yeah,
but they're also huge Pokemon fans, so we were doing that, and I was training my friends around the country, and that was just everything I always wanted. Because I said as a kid, I was always just like, guys, how cool would it be if like we didn't have to have link cables? What if there was some way we could actually trade Pokemon without the cable? And my friends were like, dude, that could happen someday, but we don't think so. And at the time, you didn't think it could, but I thought like it would be cool, and it finally did. It just took a long time because that wasn't until like 2005, 2006 or something with the DS.
You know what's really funny? Have you ever seen the movie Cable? What's my cat doing? He's trying to eat those. He's trying to eat a bag of Doritos. Look at him. he's a cute little cat though. He's a big muscular motherfucker. This cat weighs like 20 pounds. I'm telling you. But no. Have you ever seen the movie Cable Guy with Jim Carrey in it?
Yes,
Dude,
I have.
That's one of my favorites. like of Jim Carrey movies and one of my favorite movies in general. But remember when he says you can play Mortal Kombat in Vietnam? You know, with your friend in Vietnam, dude. He called that shit. I don't even know how, but now you can play Mortal Kombat with your friend in Vietnam. So
Well,
some truth to it.
the I think if what he was meaning by that,
Yeah.
back in the day, the Genesis could go online in
Yeah,
terms
I remember
of
hearing about that. Okay.
like downloading stuff for certain games.
Yeah.
I think, and I know the Sega Saturn could. So, but wait, that movie came out in 1996. So yeah, maybe it was the Saturn that could do that or something,
Yeah.
or maybe he did predict it. Like I said, I don't remember a lot of like the specs for like the earlier stuff. I know the Dreamcast could go online,
Yeah.
and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 could be played online, but it ran like garbage.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then obviously, things like Resident Evil Outbreak back in the like early to mid 2000s could go online on the PS2.
Yeah,
So.
I missed out on that whole thing.
Oh,
Cause I
dude,
didn't.
like everybody did.
Yeah, dude, I
It was,
didn't have a
ve-
router, so I mean.
it was very rare for anybody to be able to get that PS2 online that I knew personally. I've only
Yeah.
met 4 people in my life that actually did it when they were kids.
Yeah.
But thankfully
Yeah.
now, because of the internet, we can do it very easily.
Oh yeah, it's so easy that it's ridiculous. Yeah, but no, like I love anime. I love, like weird ass fucking movies like Cable Guy. When it comes to the movies, that movie is so fucking weird. Like when I watched it when I was a kid, like I thought it was funny, and then I watched it probably recently, for the first time in a long time, and I was just like, man, this movie is really fucked up. I love it.
It really is, and
I
it's
know.
great.
Because he's like this dimwit that just says movie quotes throughout the whole entire fucking movie, and he's crazy, like because his mom was doing some really fucked up shit. She wasn't a good mom, and he just all he did was sit in front of the TV and watch movies, which is, I mean, it's not good to sit in front of the TV and watch movies all the time, but at the same time, with the age that we live in, I think most of us turned out all right, I guess. I don't know. But we're definitely.
There was
yeah.
it was a really dark movie, and a lot
It
of people
was.
were, what do you call it there? Like said like that's what like almost ruined his career and everything. And I was like, I
Really?
don't think it almost ruined his career. I think it was different because he was doing something that nobody had seen him do before. Everybody
Exactly.
was just used to like The Mask and Ace Ventura and
Yeah.
In Living Color and
Yep.
all
Yep.
that stuff. So that's why like they didn't like people go back now and watch it and they realize, oh my god, this is Jim Carrey, just a darker version, and it's funny.
Yep. I know. Yeah. I loved Dark Side of the Moon was really good too.
Oh yeah, the Andy Kaufman one.
Andy Kaufman story. Yeah. He like I watched a documentary of that on YouTube. They were saying that basically he was trying to be Andy Kaufman the whole time. Like he was completely method to the point where like after the movie was shot, he didn't even know who the fuck he was anymore. He went through like a really bad depression and shit.
Well, yeah, that's how
Like-
actors get into it too much and everything, and then that's
Yeah.
what happens. They get into the role too much, and then boom,
Yep.
like they become that person, or they can't get out of that mindset.
Yeah, like Heath Ledger and
Yep.
Jim Carrey. He was depressed for so long. Like I can't really think of any others, but it's crazy shit. I mean, people it's good to hone your craft and whatever, but when you take it too far and it affects like your mental health, that's when you got to be like, okay, I'm gonna pump the brakes on this because yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next question I wanted to ask you, which is I feel I have this philosophy where I'm just like, a person is a person because of, certain things that happen in their life. And I feel like there's either two or three moments that happens in somebody's life and childhood where it makes them the person they are today. What are your 2 or 3 moments, and how did that shape you as, the man you are today? Tony from, the row.
Like honestly, I don't know, because like I've been through so much bad shit in my life and everything.
Yeah.
Nothing I ever did. Like I was always just like, because my dad is a retired cop and everything, so I was growing up to like like respect and be kind and all that stuff. But
Yep.
my mother was an addict on pills and alcohol and like
Yeah.
mental issues and shit like that. So
Yep.
my dad tried to give me the best home that he could, but she screwed it up a lot, and like he was viewed as the bad guy by a lot of people, even though
Yeah.
years later people realized it wasn't true. It was actually my mother.
Yep.
But I don't know. I just been the kind of person I am because I had a choice pretty much. I could either end up like my mother, because people that were in my situation end up going through a lot, some of them that don't go through what I go
Yeah.
through end up worse.
Yeah.
And I had a choice. Like I could have either been like that, and I
Yes.
wouldn't have had the support I did. I couldn't. I couldn't do that to like my father and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
To go down a dark path and be
Exactly.
as destructive as my mother did, because he already
Yep.
dealt with it for fucking years.
Oh yeah.
So
I know how that's
I
like.
just decided I can, be an asshole, or
Yep.
I can just do the right thing and make people laugh through comedy. And
Exactly.
I've done stand up and everything like that. I tell jokes. I tell a lot of dark jokes.
I like dark jokes.
Humor.
Dark jokes are funny.
And a lot of people don't like that because they don't
Yeah.
understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're telling me, oh, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't do that. No, it's just
Yeah.
like, I do what I fucking want.
Especially because of the day we live in, it's like very PC, so everybody wants to get all up on everybody's shit just for saying one wrong thing. It's like, calm down, not that big of a deal.
Well, the thing of it is, people are always saying, oh, you can't say that about me, or you can't say this, you can't say that, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Or anything. And then, we have to respect that. But then if,
Exactly.
like, when we say something, we're not allowed to say it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I was like, no, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. If you want equality, then if you don't like what I'm saying, okay, I'm sorry that you don't like dark humor and dark jokes about like divorce and mental illness and suicide.
Yeah,
But you know
yeah.
what? That's how I deal with that shit, because then I don't have to go pay a therapist or anything, which I was forced to go to a therapist like in school. The school made me go to them because like my mother got arrested so many times. The schools found out about it and shit. And
Yeah, I know what that's
they,
like.
they eventually told my dad that I would be an alcoholic,
Yep.
probably have issues with drugs, and never
Mhm.
have any relationships with any healthy women at all and stuff. And
Yep, that's the
prove them
problem that
wrong.
I face.
Never drank, never did any drugs, everything like that. All I drink is water.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's why when I asked you that it's like usually customary for me to crack open a beer with somebody on the channel, like I was just like, you know what? I guess I just, out of respect for you, if you're not drinking, why should I? You know what I mean?
No, you could drink. I don't care if people drink. I'm not like one of those people who's like, I'm not one of those people who say that like it's just like, well, just because I don't like this doesn't mean you can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Like I know there's people out there that like one of my friends doesn't smoke. So
Yeah.
she literally will get on everybody's case when they start smoking.
Yeah,
And they're not
I know
even
people
near
like
her.
that.
Like they'll be like stepping away and they're like, yeah, could you like not do that while I'm around? And it's
Yeah.
just like, look, I don't like smoking either. I fucking can't stand when people do it.
Yeah.
But you know what? If that's what they want to do, they're gonna do it.
That's true.
I don't
Yeah.
stop them from having a good time.
Yeah, yeah. But no, like that's one of the reasons, that probably the big reason why, I wanted to, talk to you on the channel and interview you, because I found out that we have even more in common than I ever thought possible. Like, I've been through most of the same stuff that you have. I've dealt with, addicts, my sister, had a big problem with, obviously shooting up and stuff like that. And, my mom, I mean, I love her to death, but she has a drinking problem. So it's like, I completely get you. I mean, I think you could either choose to be like your parents or, be the opposite. And I guess I'm a little bit like my dad and a little bit like my mom. Like, I mean, I do drink. I mean, I smoke cigarettes. I feel like most of the people on my channel know that by now. But I know when to not take it too far. I mean, there was a point in my life where, I was drinking a lot and partying, and it kind of, the party wasn't dying. So I kind of had to, be like, what do I want to do? Do I want to do something with my life, or do I want to drink,
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you did. Like, you grew up with it and everything.
Exactly.
You went through the teenage years. You drank, you smoked, you did what you wanted to do and everything like that. And then, you grew out of it. A lot of people don't grow out of that.
True. Yes.
And everything. So you did. And I,
Yeah.
like I always had people like I worked restaurants for like 10 years before doing photography full time. And like I would hear these people talk about these issues and stuff, and how we'd have to sympathize for them. I was like, no, like, wait, so this person gets hooked on drugs because they dated people who were mean to them in terms of being, just mean, like by saying mean things, never actually hitting them.
Yeah.
I had an ex that fucking punched me in the face repeatedly, and
Yeah.
shit like that, and I didn't go around the fucking country, stabbing women with spoons and shit or anything like that,
Yeah, shank somebody with a fucking spoon, right?
Well, no, it's just like, I was like, look, you say like this will cause this will cause that. Like, I'm a prime example. Problem is, it's just like people never want to believe that their kid can be this, or their kid has a problem, or they want to do this.
Exactly.
They don't get them the help when they need. Like, this is how literal serial killers are born.
Yeah, because they get enabled, and their parents don't think that their child is doing anything wrong, like you said, and they want them to be this perfect little flower in their eyes. They don't want to believe it until they end up in prison for some stupid bullshit.
My dad used to have to like talk a lot of kids out of like suicide, and like
Yeah.
he had to like talk to a lot of people in general about like
Yeah.
shaping up. And then like when he would pick them up for being drunk or doing something stupid back
Yep.
then, you just bring the kid home to the parents, and
Yeah.
the kid didn't want to go home because the
Yeah.
parents would beat the fuck out of the kid back when you could
Yeah.
do that shit.
Yeah, some people they didn't have the luxury of having good parents, you know? I mean, like my
No.
parents are pretty good. I mean, I've had issues with my parents, but any person has, you know. But, you know, my dad is the most amazing person to me. Like he is, you know, the person that, you know, inspired me to do a lot of shit. Like I love horror. I love, you know, Resident Evil because of my dad, fighting games, you know, you name
Yeah.
it. Everything that my dad loved, you know, shaped me as a person. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't let, you know, the things that you know, happened with other family members that I've, you know, talked about before shape me as a person. I always, my dad was always just like, listen, you know, like don't fight people, don't do stupid shit. Like you're better than that. Like I quit smoking 50 years ago and blah blah blah. He'll give like this whole speech. I quit doing this, you know, whatever. But my dad's always been a good person his whole life, and I've always tried to mask, you know, put that my dad mask on and be like, okay, there's no way that I could be better than my father, but how can I be similar but also be me too? And I think I've grown into that person that I've wanted to be.
Well, you've used the examples that they set and everything like that in order to
Exactly.
be who you are today.
Exactly.
One of the
Yeah.
guys who taught me how to fight, he always said that whenever he gave me advice, he's like, Tony, I can't tell you what to do. I can only give you advice, and it's up to you on what you do with it. And
Yep.
most people don't take that at all. Like they'll
Yeah.
like they'll ask for advice, but then they'll never take it because it's not the advice they want to hear, but it's the advice
Exactly.
it's the advice they need. It's not about like what you want to hear; it's what you need to hear, type deal. That you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I think the thing with the youths in America and the youths all over the world, I feel like they just don't have anybody to talk to. Like they don't have heroes. You know, like
Even then, like you're right on many things, but like this
yeah.
is something that I've learned. Now, my sister is a teacher, and I have other friends who are teachers,
Yep.
and I don't have kids, thank Christ, but
Yeah,
I know
same
how
here.
children are because I'm very observant of. And I listen to my sister and my friends when they talk about their teaching experiences, and it always seems to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Parents want to be friends with the kids,
Yeah.
not actual parents.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's a problem because then there's no discipline of any kind.
There's also a point where, you know, there's too much discipline, like beating your children. That's fucking wrong. And, you know,
If you smack them
yeah.
once or twice, I'll never do it again. And that's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, you know, a spanking is fine. I got spanked probably like 7 or 8 times in my life, but it was for a good fucking reason, and I learned my lesson. You know what I mean?
I never
like,
did because I never questioned my dad because he was a cop. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not.
yeah,
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not.
go against what you
Yeah,
what
I'm
you
not.
say.
I'm not going down that road. Yeah, right. Yeah, my dad
Well,
wasn't a cop, but
there's two ways cops kids go.
yeah,
They either turn out really good or really bad.
yep,
Because I went to
true.
school with a lot of kids whose dads were cops, and those kids turned out to be drug addicts, children that were like they got into trouble all the time.
Yeah,
They expect their dad to like bail them out and shit like that, or their
exactly.
parents, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
it was tough. It really was for a lot of these
yeah.
people because like they just didn't learn. They thought like they'd get away with it or whatever the case was,
True,
and
true.
it sucks. Like I said, like there's a lot of different reasons why kids are the way they are, and whether
Yep.
it's bad parenting or rough upbringings or
Yeah,
tragic things. But like I said, like people are always told me it's like you're one of the miracle people. You with all the
yeah,
stuff that you saw and everything like that, you should have been a lot worse. And I was like, yeah, I'm not.
yeah.
I
Exactly,
mean, like I could have been, but like I said, I didn't want to put my dad through any of that crap that my mother had put both of us through for years.
exactly. Yeah,
And like the two guys who taught me how to fight and everything like that, if I ever fucking started fights or was being an asshole and stuff like that, they'd come kick my ass. And I'm all about like not getting my ass kicked by them because they are a lot stronger than I am, even at their
Yeah.
age. They're almost 60.
yeah, yeah. I
The
mean,
guy, the guy who one of the guys who trained me, he looks like Bruce Willis now. Like,
Oh, that's
bald
awesome.
head and everything like that, but he's got like a strong build and shit like that.
you know, Bruce Willis grew up in Jersey, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's how he started acting. He was a bartender in New Jersey, and somebody just somebody just was just like, you know what, you're very funny, and you're very sociable and whatever, and it seems like you could probably do this, like, and they gave him a casting call and whatever, and history.
Well, he did eventually get cast for Moonlighting.
Yeah.
Him and
Yeah.
Sybil Shepherd. And
Yep.
he was doing that movie while he was doing Die Hard and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep. But yeah, no, like going back to the whole, like family stuff. Like, I mean, you know what's funny? Like, it seems like the nicest guys or the nicest girls meet the shittiest opposite, the shittiest significant others all the time. And I see it everywhere I go. Everywhere.
it,
Like with different
it
people
is
too.
true.
It
Like,
is.
you're right about that.
Yeah.
Because they're always trying. When the nice people meet the bad people, it's like a magnet. And the thing of
Exactly.
it is, it comes back to them growing up and seeing a parent, of whatever the problem was with their parent. They find that problem or something similar
Yep.
in another person, and they try to fix that.
Yeah.
Or because it's what they know,
And it never works.
that's what they gravitate towards.
Yeah, and it never
And,
works,
and I've seen people do that. I've seen people do it all the time, and I
Yeah.
call it like whenever one of my friends start dating somebody,
Yeah.
I'm just like, nope, they're not gonna work. And they're like, you say that about everybody. I'm like, name one time I've been wrong about the people you've dated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're just like,
Yeah. Right. But like then you end up being the asshole for giving them advice, and it's just like, dude, you got to wake up. I mean, this isn't going to work, and you should know that, but people are very, I mean, love is blinding sometimes,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
hold on a second.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time. Thank you everybody for joining in. This interview is going really well. I thank you guys for watching. Oh, he's back. Okay.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, this interview is going actually really well. Like I'm so glad you said yes. Thank you. I appreciate
Well,
it.
no, I always like doing interviews with people and like
Yeah.
talking about podcasts. It's one of the reasons why I started my own podcast and everything too. So
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. What's it called?
it's just it's on my channel, the New to Retro Reviews channel. It's called the New to
Okay.
Retro Reviews podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty much, it's pretty
I'll
much just where I just talk about anything that I like, anything that's relevant right now, anything like that, or I have my friends come on and we do chats and shit.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea too. I mean, I've always wanted to start a podcast, but I always thought a YouTube channel had more weight, to it.
Well, I mean, podcasts are still on YouTube and everything like that, but
True,
like you just
yeah.
take the audio out of the video and everything like that, and just put it on, like Spotify, iTunes, all those things.
Yeah, true. All right, so I have one last segment before we end this. Hold on. Yeah, I think we already talked about that. Actually, no, we didn't. All right, so I have one last segment, and then we're gonna talk horror for a little bit, and then we'll end it. So this segment's called Bang, Marry, Kill. Let's do this. So, this is RE franchise. Bang, Marry, Kill. Ada Wong, Claire Redfield, Jill Valentine. Go.
Uh,
It's tough, right?
Probably not the best person to ask about this stuff.
Okay. It's all right if you don't want to do it. Let's just move on to something else then. All right. So let's talk about horror. You're obviously a big horror fan, right?
Not really.
No. Okay.
That surprised a lot of people. They're like, "Aren't you
Yeah,
on
it does.
a horror channel?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, like, I know a lot about this stuff, but I don't go out of my way to watch it and everything." 'cause,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't handle horror that well anyway. So like, I was always really afraid of Resident Evil back in the day as much as I played it. Same
Yeah.
like Silent Hill and all that shit. Like I was really, I love that stuff, but
Yeah.
like it freaked me out back in the day. I know a lot about horror movies and everything. I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of the olden classics.
Yeah, me too.
Like I said, I'm more of the action guy.
Yeah. I like action. I like you mentioned, you look like Steven Seagal back in like high school or whatever.
Yep.
Exit Wounds is one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's really good. DMX, and you had a few other people that were pretty well known. I thought that movie was excellent, and the way it ends is like you have the dude, the main asshole villain, like drop from a fucking helicopter and get impaled.
Michael Jai White. Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was the fucking coolest thing ever. And Bruce Lee. I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. I have a poster of him in my room upstairs. But you know, like a big Bruce Lee fan. Enter the Dragon is probably one of the best. You know, Game of Death. It sucks so much that he died, you know, before that movie could even be finished and whatever. But
It is.
yeah, yeah. But I'm a big Bruce Lee fan and everything. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. So I guess we'll end it right here if you want to.
I mean, we can still talk. Like, what was the horror stuff you had? I might have answers for that one.
What's your favorite horror movie and why?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I would have to say, Dawn of the Dead, like the original, like when they're in the mall.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that had
really
a
good.
lot to do with. I love the remake. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought, like, in terms of what they did in it, like in terms of like cinematography, makeup effects, all that
Yep.
crazy stuff that happened, that was really good. But the original was good because
Yeah.
it showed you like how people were acting, like when the world is coming to an end, how people are still, like, some people are still sticking together, others
Yeah.
are kind of like trying to come to take everything. You know, I really enjoyed that movie a lot. It didn't really
Yeah.
scare me as much because it was very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it had a lot of things about it that were a lot different from, you know, typical zombie movies, like, you know, like the Night of the Living Dead and the Return of the
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead and shit like that. Like it just kind of it gave it a fresh new coat of paint. You know what I mean? Like what it meant to make a zombie movie. It was really and what's his face? He was one of the main characters. The actor. Fuck. He's in Zombieland. Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I keep forgetting. Like I always
Yeah.
find like, you know, like that one's like a horror movie because it's just so funny.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah, I
horror
know.
comedy.
Yeah, yeah, dude. But I mean, those movies are really, really good though. They're really good zombie movies. I loved them. But I mean,
Yeah.
the Dawn of the Dead sequel kind of fell off for me. I felt like the zombies were too fast. I felt like it was a little too fast paced. You know, like if one zombie fucking goes into that mall, you're kind of screwed. I'm sorry, but it's like,
Yeah, like they seem
Yeah.
very durable.
yeah, they were way too durable. It was like almost like Resident Evil 2 remake zombies, but on steroids. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's a
yeah.
good way of putting it, I suppose.
yeah,
Yeah. I
exactly.
see like why that actually would bum out a lot of people, so that does make sense.
Yeah.
I actually really like the Halloween movies.
Oh, they're really good. Yep.
Like well, obviously 3 was completely different and everything because they were gonna go
Yeah.
route, and then that didn't do so well, so they brought Michael Myers back.
Yeah.
And like everything, like you know, after the first like 2 Halloween movies, kind of like just was weird timeline wise, and all this stuff happened with the characters.
True.
But I liked the whole idea of Michael Myers. Like there was like a cult, and like how they like the final one.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the final one that had Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was really and Paul Rudd was in that movie. He was the little he was the character of the little boy from the first movie that
Yeah, I know.
Laurie Strode. Yeah.
He was a
Paul
child
Rudd's been around
actor.
a lot longer than people think.
I know, right? He was in Dazed and Confused and a
Yep.
bunch of other really great movies.
Clueless,
Paul Rudd's great.
Friends.
Yeah.
Like
yep.
I never watched Friends, right?
Yeah,
Never
me
watched
either.
Friends, and then like I was told by somebody that I had to do it. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna fucking watch it. It was like 3 years ago when it came out on Netflix on like January 1st.
Yeah.
So I binged it all, and then all of a sudden Paul Rudd shows up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this motherfucker don't age.
You know,
This is like 96, 97 that like he started coming on the show. So
a lot of people made cameos into that show too. Brad Pitt.
Yep.
Yeah, because he was dating Angelina at the time, or not
Yep, and then,
Angelina.
what was the other
Jennifer
one that
Aniston.
was, Mustache Man. Magnum PI.
Yeah. Yep.
His name is escaped. Tom Selleck. That's it. That's his name.
Tom Selleck.
Tom-
yes.
Tom Selleck was in that. I think. I want to say Bruce Willis was in that show once. I know Van Damme was. Jeff Goldblum was in there.
Yeah,
for
Jean-Claude
an
Van Damme was
episode.
in it. Dude,
Yep.
Bloodsport though. Bloodsport's an amazing fucking movie. Oh man,
on
I wish I had
Netflix.
that on DVD.
Oh, you got
Bloodsport.
Netflix?
No, not right now.
I was gonna say, damn, it's on Netflix.
It is? Damn, I got.
Yeah, I just watched it the other day.
Maybe I should redo my Netflix account because I mean, after they took like Luke Cage off of Netflix and didn't renew like any of the other seasons like Iron
Yeah.
Fist and shit, I was just so pissed off. I was like, you know what? Fuck Netflix.
Dude, like I am in the same boat with you because okay, so all 3 seasons of Daredevil are
Yeah.
fucking perfect.
I know they're great.
They are amazing. And the way the third season ended pretty much was a series finale in many ways. If they never did bring it back, which obviously they're not going to, then it felt like a good series finale.
Yeah.
And I love the Defenders. It's great to watch on that. It's got a lot of issues though. It ain't that great
Definitely.
at times, but I love the team up aspect of it. And I love that the actors actually had chemistry with one another.
Yep.
And then like, Luke Cage season 2 where fucking Danny Rand comes back.
Yeah.
Everything
yeah.
like he comes and helps him out for 2 episodes, and I'm like, this is the Iron Fist we need.
Exactly.
He is so like with it now. Something has happened in his travels. He is with it now. He's like the actor and the writers are understanding what Iron Fist is supposed to be.
Yep.
And people were happy about that, and they
Exactly.
it was assuming it was going to lead to Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Like a mini series or something like that, or like a combination of the both series together.
That would have been cool. I mean, I would have been down for anything, honestly. Like all of the like Jessica Jones is my favorite, obviously, but really? Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Daredevil. I liked how they all meshed together. I loved the storytelling. I thought all of the villains were insanely awesome. They had good character plots. Like I thought just everything about it in general was awesome, and the fact that they were able to like meld different worlds together and then, make the Defenders and whatever. Like I thought that was neat. And I loved season 2 of Luke Cage with the Bushmaster. Like the Bushmaster is fucking badass, man. He's so cool.
It was okay. Like I had issues with it because like he was good.
Yeah.
But like the problem was the whole killing of Mariah Stokes. They could have done that so much earlier.
Yeah.
See, the problem was with Luke Cage, the first season was decent. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah.
It did what it was supposed to, and it had like 1 or 2 weak episodes.
Yep.
Or like one episode that was weak. The next season that they did, season 2, had more episodes.
Yeah.
And it fell off hard.
A little bit.
There were so many times in like 3 episodes they could have wrapped everything up, and obviously Luke Cage was like, transitioning into like not like almost a villain for where he was because he took over the club at the end.
Yeah.
And then he shows up as you've seen season 3 of Jessica Jones, right?
No, not yet.
Well,
no.
Spoiler, he does show up for like a few minutes in one of the episodes with her.
Yeah, he usually does.
And the thing of it is, if they didn't cancel the shows, those two are going to come to blows again. The way they were setting it up to, like, they don't tell you anything. It's just the image they give off and stuff, like the way they speak and how nice they are to one another. But that Luke Cage at this point is doing things that are probably bad, or in the eyes like it needs to be done, but it's not the right way. And it was just so good. And the fact that we're never going to get that is disheartening. I know that like what was it? The guy who plays Daredevil has been pushing to continue it, and they want to bring Daredevil into the MCU. They're talking, but there is some kind of thing where they have to wait like 3 years before they can use any of those characters. So people are wanting to see like Daredevil team up with Spider-Man.
That would have been that would be awesome.
I think that would be a good movie. I still think it would work. These things work better as shows. And,
true.
Can't forget the Punisher getting canceled too. That sucked.
I mean,
that sucked.
What would you feel about the Jennifer Garner's Elektra? Yeah.
Dude, that Daredevil movie and that movie with Elektra with her is just, it's all kinds of wrong. Nothing adds up in those things. Everything is terrible. It's weird. It's just like you really go back and like my problem is I see everything. I get everything sent to me and I just analyze the hell out of everything. So people are like,
me too.
Oh, you're always so negative. I'm like, look, I'm not telling you can't enjoy this thing that's really terrible. But just admit that it's like, I mean, I played shitty video games, okay? I am not going to sit here and defend Street Fighter V and say it's an amazing game. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I fucking love that game because its gameplay style and its mechanics are probably some of the best that Capcom Fighter has done.
They are really good.
A decade.
They are really good. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But the problem is Infinite looks like it doesn't look that good. The character roster is cut down from Ultimate, like what Ultimate 3 was. So I'm not, like I said, I am the person that will tell you when something is bad, but I'm going to tell you the good. Just don't instantly call me a hater because I'm telling you the fucking truth.
I feel like people like us kind of like suck the fun out of the room sometimes when we give our opinions because, people are just like, yo, shut the fuck up and just enjoy it for what it is, And
but everybody else is all having discussions and agreeing with one another and everything. It's like, but like, you can agree with that, but why can't I say what I want to say? And they're like, oh, because you're an asshole. And I was like,
Yeah.
So what? You just all want to be like fucking drones and not have an opinion of yourself?
Yeah,
Have
right?
fun being a sheep.
Yeah, right? Yeah. All right, man. Let's wrap this up. So
Yeah.
you know, tell the world where they can find you. You know, anything that you want to plug, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Well, if you guys, like, I have like a lot of social media, so I'm sure you'll have it down in the description below down here. But you can find me at Twitter and Instagram at One Big Boss. That's like it's all one word. Well, it's not one word, but it'll be
Yep.
down there. You can look me up on because I'm very active on Twitter,
Mhm.
and I'm also my YouTube channel. It's all one word called New Two Retro Reviews. The two is the number two.
Mhm.
And man, I should have thought a lot about when I did these names to make it easier. But either way, you can
Yeah, I
find me
know,
over
right?
there, and you can also find me over at the Residents of Evil, or just simply type in Row Network on YouTube or Google, and you'll find me over there with the rest of my team, where we play horror games, we play Resident Evil games, and we do reviews, we do discussions, have podcasts, and within the next few weeks, we're going to be pumping out all the voice actors from Resident Evil 3 remake
Oh,
in an
that's gonna be
interview that
dope.
Ali and I had done.
That's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to
Oh
see
yeah, they were
that.
great. So much
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. But yeah, and also definitely buy their merch because their merch is cool as hell. Like I love those jackets, man. I've always wanted to get one, but I'm broke as fuck.
Yeah, like we all wore them at PAX South and everything, and
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I love our guy on the team, our Bob Spaghetti. He's our pitch man. He's like the Billy Mays of
Yeah.
Row Network.
He's just
Everything.
like he's
He's
just
just
like,
like, yeah, if
well,
you guys
next
want the
question.
sweet row merch or anything like that, head over to
Yeah.
costwiz.com, use row 10 to get 10% off. This
Yep.
guy, like, he just fires it out like that. He is
Yep.
the pitch man of the group, and I fucking love him for that.
Yeah, Bob
Isn't
Spaghetti
he?
is so hilarious. I love it when he eats like bowls of spaghetti, like one after another, and then he's just like, dude, I don't feel so good. And I'm just like, what are you
Dude, like
doing?
he literally gave himself food poisoning, I think, for the charity that we had for me and my dad and everything.
Oh shit.
And I think if doing like just destroying himself with that. And then
Yeah, yeah.
I remember I was watching one of the live streams they did for our, I think it was one of our annual streams. I think it was the Toys for Tots one. And he and JJ are doing their thing. They're getting tons of money in donations from fans for Toys for Tots, like we do every year.
Yep.
And JJ's telling us, like, yeah, we've already beat. I can't believe it, guys. Like, we smashed all our goals. We beat them. It's amazing. We did so good. And Bob will just, like, you just hear him in the back coming in. He goes, yeah, we kicked its ass.
Yeah,
And that's
man.
like one of my favorite things he's ever fucking said and everything, because it's just hilarious.
I seriously love all you guys from the row. Definitely please follow these guys. They're fucking awesome. Definitely follow Tony's channel. And if you like this interview and you want to see more of them, hopefully maybe I'll get, hopefully I was thinking about trying to get Chris Jericho on the channel, but that's going to be a far cry. But I would love that, man. Chris Jericho is my hero. Like I said, wrestling fan,
I mean,
coolest guy ever.
it's not impossible, because my buddy Mikkel over at the Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Casanova podcast,
Yeah.
that guy has gotten some of the biggest names in gaming and industry and wrestling, and
Really?
I mean, he does top quality work. So all you got to do, dude, is just keep up with the quality work. When you reach out to these people's agents, they're gonna look at the stuff you do and stuff, and or even if like you can reach out to the actual person on Twitter and stuff, it never hurts to.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I
if
just
people want to do interviews with, aren't you like an email?
what?
It's Twitter, like it's right there. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Twitter.
true.
Like, it's the best way to get in contact with someone, because a lot of people, like, their emails, they get a lot, whether it's like business or people spamming them or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but
Just
hopefully,
keep at it, dude, and you might get them.
hopefully that happens. I did reach out to him, didn't get anything back yet, but he is a busy fucking guy. He's like the king of AEW right now. He is fucking killing it. So I've always just wanted to have like, him and Figure, who is an electronic dance music artist. He makes albums called Monsters of Drumstep every year. You should definitely check him out if you're a fan of electronic music. Which, I mean, maybe you are. I don't know. You don't seem like the type of person that would be.
More of an old school rock and roll guy
Yes,
myself
yeah.
and everything, but
That's what I figured. But yeah, I also I would love to crush a 6-pack with one of them. That'd be really fucking cool. But
that'd be interesting.
yeah, I know, right? But yeah, definitely please like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you enjoyed this interview, let me know. I want to do others. Like I said, the DMs are always open. Let me know. Give me your feedback. And also follow me on Patreon or at www.patreon.com/We Are Wrestling with Evil. And yeah, and we'll see you guys soon. I mean, we should do this again. This was actually really fun, dude.
Definitely, dude.
Yeah, I think we talked for like 3 hours. All right, man.
It feels
So
like it, yeah.
yeah, I know, right? So I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, and yeah, see you guys soon.